Behold, and welcome to the Community Appreciation Stream. And what I mean by that, I do not know. It is just a miscellaneous gesture of thanks. I feel like you all have been really patient lately, and I really appreciate that. I am plagued, personally, by a lack of feeling like people have any patience, and I'm really happy that you all are mostly being really patient. I've had hardly anyone be like, dude, where's all your videos? Which would be a totally justified thing to ask. Like, that would have been totally justified, but mostly you all have just been really patient, and I just really appreciate that. It's an incredibly nice gesture, so thank you. So today, we got the framework of the Melee Mag Coliseum configuration video yesterday, which it seems like you all are enjoying a lot. I'm really, really happy that Mag has like consistent crowd control now. That's really exciting to me. And I don't know. I want to, okay, I'm hearing myself because I'm just posting updates to social media. So I'm going to kind of just hang out with you all and talk about stuff. And I also have another event to announce before I forget, which is that we're going to bring Drift Frame back. Yeah, boy, slow rolled that one, didn't I? So here's the deal. We're not permanently bringing it back for sure, but tomorrow I'm going to try to make it our normal stream time. Tomorrow, I'm going to do a sort of Drift Frame exhibition stream on Twitch, which is in the description, and we're going to try it because when we recently but not too recently, like, did racing streams, my stream wasn't that big. It was like pretty small. Like, the channel was still pretty small. We have over doubled in size on YouTube and over quadrupled in size on Twitch since then. So one of the problems was that there wasn't enough people racing, but that's kind of like, I'm not really actually sure that's still true, you know? So we're going to try it. We're going to see what happens. We're going to try it. Operators having really crazy mobility is still a problem. We're just going to take it on good faith for this one try and tell people not to do it. It'll be fine, and we're going to give it a try. So tomorrow, at this time, racing stream. We're bringing it back. I also can't stream Thursday, which is my normal stream time, so we're doing it then. But racing stream, yes. So we're going to give it a try and see what happens, and hopefully it's going to be rad. So let me tell the world that we're here and say hi to people, and then we can get going. People have requested some other stuff, and I'm going to do all of it today because it's their awesome request. So somebody requested talk about Volcar Wraith, so we're going to do that. Somebody requested Limbo being useful, so I'm not a Limbo expert, but I'll give it a try. Somebody said, how do you feel about Volt unvaulting? Great question, Jack Wang. Let's talk about that a little bit. Actually, a kind of an interesting topic that I think has weird implications. So we'll talk about that because I have a thought about that. Drift Frame Grand Prix race on Plains of Eidolon. Definitely will not be on Plains of Eidolon because Plains of Eidolon is way too open. If you try to race on Plains of Eidolon, it's literally just a fight between who can spam powers the most. And if you do, then you win. It requires no skill. It is not possible to defeat an opponent who has a better setup than you. No matter what you do, you will always lose because it's just not possible. So we're not going to race on Plains of Eidolon. You can't. You really just can't. Because it's too open. You can literally just spam like Slash Dash or some other mobility ability, and it is not possible to beat people if they do that. In our experience, it was like Excalibur spamming Slash Dash, or Zephyr spamming her flight, or Titania just flying straight. Like, no one running on the ground is even meaningful. Like, you just can't play if you run on the ground, that's not fun. It's basically an efficiency fight, which is just boring. So we're not racing in Plains of Eidolon. It doesn't work. I really wish that we had like a more intricate environment, and I think Venus Open World might deliver that. It's also possible that Dark Sectors will. Anyway, a lot of you have heard me say this stuff before, but yes. So I do want to find a way to race in Open World, but Plains of Eidolon is not it. It just isn't. It's not a thing. You can't. It's not a thing you can do. Oh, I already copy pasted this. Hold on. Okay. Let's hold on. I'll say my hellos in just a sec. Let me just live on YouTube for our weekly stream, talking about whatever you want. Whatever you want. Come say the things that you want. That's about as bluntly as I can put it. Let's shoobity boop 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 over to here, and shoobity boop 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 over to Twitter. I mean Twitch. We'll also Twitter, but okay, we're done. Good. Let's scroll. Okay, Black Note. Hello, Pop Tizzle the Tuber. That is that's the next level name, my dude. What's up? I know why I stayed up till 2:30 a.m. Exactly, because you could sense it. I was coming. I decided to stream a bit earlier today because I think it's good to stream earlier when I can. And by wiggling my stream time a little bit, I get people that I don't always get to see. So let's look at Volcar Wraith. I don't have a lot to say about this, but somebody requested talking about it, and it's not like I can't show you a build. It's just not very exciting. This is a very one build to rule them all weapon. It's got an augment, and then it's got good crit and status, so you just put on the critical and status mods. This weapon's rather low critical chance, and the fact that it's a sniper rifle are kind of like both of those things, making the crit and status kind of inconsistent, are both saved by the fact that this weapon has a good-sized magazine and a very, like, okay reload for a sniper rifle with a magazine of this size. 3.0 is not nice, but 8 rounds is pretty good. So you might not get the crit, but you can do follow-up shots, and you might not get the status, but you can do follow-up shots. So it's actually not that inconsistent. You can't count on killing in one shot as often. And you have very good base damage as well because of the dead aim. That's like when you're scoped in, you get damage, which is really solid. So very solid weapon, not an exciting weapon. One of the most boring weapons in the entire game as far as builds go. There really isn't anything funny to do with it. It's just like you build the mods and that's it. But it's good. It's a very reasonable, serviceable sniper rifle. It has a rather high disposition among sniper rifles if you care about Rivens for like Eidolon hunting and stuff. So you can do that, which is super cool. Dead Quasar, hello. Oh boy. Cortel Mace, hi. Chris Langford, hello. Gukas, hello. Welcome back, everyone. Castoropazzo, hello. Big Green, hello. I just want to say hi to everyone. Rajoxus, I mentioned your comment before, but hello. What do you think is the Rainbow Road for Drift Frame? Rajoxus, it's probably Eris. Like, if you're talking about, like, what is the insane tier difficulty mission? It's Eris, like Isos on Eris. It's so, like, the map is just like a headache to navigate. It's so bad. If that counts as Rainbow Road being a headache. I don't know, I like Rainbow Road, but still. Anyway. Ask anything you say. There you go. Trev Soda, hello. Shower Walker, no. I will not do that. I'm glad that you asked for what you wanted. That's what I asked you to do, but I will not do that. Where's your gaming chair, Scrub? I am you are the Scrub because you use a chair at all. Ooh. I have the ultimate gaming chair, my legs. Hey Zandy, how you doing today? Hi. Abi, what's going on? I'm doing pretty well. The Lost Sun, we're in Burlington, Vermont, where I live. We're getting a ton of snow. We're getting so much snow. What's that glyph on the front window of your orbiter? This is the DE partner symbol. So this was a Valentine's gift from DE to the Warframe partners, and I really wish they'd given it to us sooner because it is... when Plains of Eidolon came out, there was a bit of a point of contention about like who was actually a Warframe partner and who was like lying about being a Warframe partner. For the purposes of getting the thing that you got for surviving the night, you know, that only partners could give that out. But a lot of people just said they were a Warframe partner, even though they weren't, so that people would watch their stream of them just sitting on the plains. And that was a little bit of a problem. But it actually isn't a problem. It's just that people don't know how to check whether someone is a partner. If you go to someone's profile, like if I'm in a mission with you, if you hit show profile on me, I have this little thing, which is the definitive proof that the person is the real Zandy Pants or whatever. You never actually have to check that. It's always been here, but a ton of people do not know that. Like a huge amount of people do not know that. So having these means that we can put them all over our ships, and only actual Warframe partners have this. So theoretically, you could just put it all over your ship, and it's like, hey, look, I'm a Warframe partner. Like, hey, look, I'm a Warframe partner. Like, hey, look, I'm a Warframe partner. Like, stuff like that, you know? which I think is rather helpful. So that's what it is. It's the DE partner program symbol. I think it's meant to be the corpus hacking thing, like put together. I don't know. It's cute. I've always kind of liked it. Very simple, very distinct. These are of course my glyph in stereo. But yeah, so I just put it everywhere. I've seen a couple other partners do this to sort of like have a way to demonstrate that you can feel assured that the person actually is a Warframe partner if that matters. It often doesn't, but like, why not? You know, a lot of people don't know. I'm actually planning to make a video at some point on like what the partner program actually is, because I know a lot of people just have no idea. Like, what do we get? Like, what items do we get for free? What are the conditions of being in the Warframe partner program? Like, I don't even. A lot of people aren't clear on that. I mean, I know what they are, but it's not super cut and dry, which is good, but definitely unclear. A cause of confusion for sure. We're gonna do this for a sec, even though I really don't want to. It's the thing I want to demonstrate. Okay, let me catch prices. Your opinion on the really low Riven prices all of a sudden. I actually haven't noticed that, Big Green. I have been shopping for Rivens a little bit more than I used to.
I'm on
Oh baby, corncob chicken. Corncob chicken. Thanks for the unexpected tongue twister on Twitch. Thank you for the cross-platform support. Big Green, I actually haven't noticed low Riven prices recently. It's possible that it's because people are unsure about melee weapon changes, but I don't think the community is actually that smart on the whole. No offense to all of you, I mean, you know, the community at large. More PUBG streams when? Probably relatively soon, but I want to keep the Warframe streams consistent too. I might make the PUBG, the next Elusive Advice Column stream might be a PUBG stream. What do you think about the Comac? I like Twin Comac. I think normal Comac is not that good. This weapon gets, as it spools up, like once it's fully spooled up, this weapon has enormous ammo economy. Not in the sense of like saving bullets, but in like once it's spooled up all the way. The special mechanic of the Comb and the Comac is that they gain pellets. They increase their pellet count. And when it's fully spooled up, the amount of damage per bullet is really, really high, but it still runs out of ammo really fast. So the ammo economy in the sense of damage per bullet, like it converts pistol ammo into damage really, really effectively. So in that sense, it's really good, but you need to keep firing it because it has to be spooled up for that to be the case. So I don't think that the Comac, which has a small magazine, is that good, and Twin Comac, which is only different in having a bigger magazine, is actually a lot better. A lot of people were like, it literally only has a bigger magazine. That's the only thing you want the Comac to have. So I do think it's significantly better. It's not a very exciting weapon to build. It's just a hybrid build. And then Ice Storm is a clutch last choice. This weapon's status is not that good with, like, the gain you get from running dual stat mods is not very good because it's a shotgun with low status. But it still does good status overall just because it fires an insane amount of pellets. So just build the elements you want. Like, don't feel like you have to do dual stat mods, although that makes it cost a lot of Forma. But this is pretty powerful. And the crit chances, but you have a lot of pellets, so it's consistent. It's a nice weapon. Very, very fun with if enemies are grouped up because it has an 8 punch through. You can just like blow through them with like really, really good damage per bullet, which is really nice. So yeah, Twin Comac is cool. Normal Comac, not so much. Comb is like arguably the best weapon in the entire game, with a very certain build. No, actually, I was trying to go along with you. What do I got to do to get your lift on PS4? Exact same thing as PC. You can join races. Well, I guess you can't join races on PS4, but you can watch my stream. You're getting stream currency. Anytime you watch my Twitch streams, you can AFK in them if you want. That's totally fine. You can AFK on them for stream currency and then just buy it. You can sub on Twitch. That gives you a little more stream currency. Good boost to stream currency. You can patron me on Patreon, or the same thing if you sponsor me on YouTube. That's a new like sub-like thing that is weird. I don't give glyphs for those for subscribing on Twitch or for sponsoring on YouTube, but I'd be happy to like help you by giving you some stream currency or something. You can win my fashion frame contests, which happen every week. And I'm adding more ways all the time. I want to add more ways to get glyphs, but I don't do random giveaways because I think that's not actually very good for viewers. It's just like what people are used to. It's kind of stressful and doesn't really make you a good fan. It just like stresses people out. In my opinion, I know some people like giveaways, but I hate giveaways, so I don't like doing it. However, speaking of which, I do have a Octavia Maestra collection to give away from DE. So for the races tomorrow, I'm going to find a way to do a giveaway for the Octavia Maestra collection. So if you want that, you can win that even if you're on console. You can still win that. They said they'll just give it to you. I'll give you them your name, and they'll just give it to you when it comes out on console. So sometime tomorrow, you can win an Octavia Maestra collection and glyphs. People, when you win a race, if you win a glyph, and you already have one, I usually let people give it to someone else, so you might be given one if you watch that stream by someone. Super cool. Anyway, Abideep, we're just hanging out today, talking about stuff, doing whatever you all want, basically. Zez, hello, thanks for stopping in for a little bit. Any opinions on the Vasto Prime and the Impact Riven, and an Impact Riven for it? Vasto Prime doesn't really need a Riven to be good. It's pretty strong. Vasto Prime is a lot like Pendedo. Very similar to the Pendedo. It has really good fire rate, so if you can click really fast or you bind your fire button to your mouse wheel, you can kind of do the like fan the hammer thing that Pendedo can do by just firing really, really fast. Vasto Prime is very, very similar to the Pendedo. One of the only differences, excuse me, is that it's mostly slash. But personally, I think it's kind of better with corrosive. It has good status, but in my experience, corrosive is kind of a little bit better. They're close, but better. Hydraulic crosshairs is nice. This weapon is kind of inconsistent critically, but has a really good multiplier. So I think you should build this, and it's really, really good. If you had a Riven for this weapon, you mentioned a Riven. If you're asking for advice about what you should roll, I would say definitely not Impact. That doesn't really do anything. And in general, getting stats like that is not that good because it's overcapping with your elemental mods. One build to rule them all style. What I would want would be critical chance to keep it consistent. Critical multiplier would obviously go a long way. That always goes a long way. Multi-shot is always fine on this type of weapon to make it more consistent. But remember, you have a lot of multi-shot already. I would go for crit stats. Pretty much only crit stats. Base damage would also be fine. Like, not amazing, but fine. And a little more of your elemental combo is never bad. It's better if you have corrosive than if you have viral, to bias it more toward that. Boop-a-doop, boop, boop. So that's what I think about that. McCree still is follow sound. I have ideas for follow sounds now. I'm going to change that very soon. I have good ideas. Hey, Zandy, I know you're probably working on it, but I crave those dank Warframe arcane synergies. I am working on that. It's a lot of work because it's not easy to get full sets of them, but yes, I am working on that. The next run of Framework, after this run of Framework is done, which it almost is, we're gonna wait like a month or two, but then I have a sort of like Framework 2.0 planned that has a lot more stuff in it, and that will include arcanes where appropriate. For some frames, it's not that appropriate because it doesn't really make a big difference. But for some, there are frames that are completely changed by arcanes. Some weapons that are totally changed by arcanes. So they will be included where appropriate. Do any other weapons besides Lanka have that weird projectile interaction with mags magnetized? Yes. Anything that is a projectile gun does. Punch through is kind of what's doing it because it will fly around inside the bubble and punch through the enemies multiple times. So the miter can do it really well. It is nice with anything that is like a projectile whatever weapon because the bullets will fly around inside with punch through. So the miter is a really good one that somebody mentioned in the comments of that video, which is really nice. But the Lanka is so powerful already that hitting multiple times is just nuts. That's part of why it's so good. Normally it wouldn't be able to devastate a group that easily, but it can with that setup. Why can I not get away from Valkyr? I feel like she's a beginner frame, but I love her for melee, and she's my most used frame so far. I don't think she's that beginner framey. She's simple, definitely, but she's pretty strong. I mean, she has an invulnerability phase ability, has a ton of base armor, and has a really, really good melee attack speed buff, she's pretty strong. I don't think there's anything wrong with playing Valkyrie a lot. How do you feel about the Zhuge, or the Chuka, as some would heinously call it? The Zhuge is pretty cool. Its stat spread is really weird. I remember watching Shy's video on the Zhuge, and one of her complaints is that the stats of this weapon are just like a head scratcher. Like, why does it have the stat spread it has? It's just weird. But it did get more critical chance recently, I believe. Maybe it always had this critical chance, but it certainly seems like it got a little more, and it's got really good status. So the problem with the arrow assault rifles is what I almost said. Crossbows, also known as crossbows, is that the reload speeds are all pretty bad, but the magazine is not that generous. So these weapons do good damage per shot. They have a nice mix of like fire rate and ammo efficiency. Both the Attica and the Zhuge do. But their magazine is not that good for their reload speed. They both have bad reload speed. So there are kind of two things you can do. You can one build to rule them all to next Tuesday. 100 munitions is pretty alright on this weapon. But to some degree, I might recommend that you run like fast hands or something so that you can just like do and then like reload it fast. Another thing that's a bit of a shame about these weapons, they would really love to have just one more slot so that you can run the reload speed and also run a fire rate mod, or if they were secondaries, then you'd get it innately from Lethal Torrent. But fire rate does go a long way on these weapons, but yeah, so I don't know, run a speed trigger if you feel like taking something out, but I really wouldn't. It's not better than any of these mods. It's like arguable versus Vigilante armaments, but I don't know if I want fast hands over Vigilante armaments, so I don't know. It's complicated, but I will, but we can demonstrate some of this stuff if you want to see me shoot these things. Let's go to the Simulacrum for a sec. Let's swoosh right in to the Simulacrum. But yeah, so if you want to use a crossbow, they're both good. I've heard a lot of people say that they think we're going to get Attica Prime with Zephyr, which wouldn't surprise me. But we don't know for sure. So maybe wait like a week. I don't know. Maybe wait like a week. Death by Ego, yes. The Gladiator set bonus does work with sniper rifles. It works with anything you can put it on. Oh, wait, no, what? No. Sorry, I totally spaced out. Forget everything I just said. The Vigilante. I thought you were saying Vigilante. No, Gladiator set bonus does not work with sniper rifles. It definitely does not. I know what you mean. Sometimes there's like weird like combo counter programming, but no, it doesn't. That would be really interesting if it did, but it doesn't. Let me show this Zhuge. This Yuka, as it were. The ye old Chuka. So you can see it's pretty nice. Like, you get plotting shots that are relatively easy to control. And then, like, it does pretty good at getting through armor, which is nice. Some punch through in this weapon would make me kind of happy, but we can't all have nice things. It's pretty good aim. It has travel time, but the accuracy is pretty good. Pretty fair, I find. So, I don't know. It's alright. Wait, do I have, No, I took off the Twin Comac. Someone says, wait, were you serious about the comb? Yes, very much. You build it for 100% status, and it will just mulch everything in the universe. Let me show that. The comb is totally insane. Like, it really is. Like, there's no two ways about it. The comb is like, it's like getting a tiny boost from some other mod away from being like the best weapon in the game by like worlds. As you can see here, we have not enough for okay, 2 Forma. You need all 4 dual stat mods and Nano Applicator, and then I think Shotgun Spaz is the last mod here. Vigilante Armaments would be a gigantic gain, but there isn't space for it. A Riven would give you huge gains on this weapon, way more than most weapons. If you just get a tiny bit of status and multi-shot instead of Nano Applicator, like, this weapon becomes like a god killer, like from Legend. Screw the critical chance, it's weird and bad. Just cast an ability and mow down everyone in the universe. I'm just gonna cast a random thing over here. So I activate Nano Applicator, look at the top corner, then you have to aim down sights. and it just like horribly mulches the universe. Like, oh god. And it has innate punch through. Crowd control mulching everything in the universe. You have to make sure you cast an ability every 9 seconds unless you do the Riven thing, but yeah, it's really good. Wait, let me shoot at Bombards really quick. Oh boy, there's the super chat. Paracels, hello. Thanks for the money, my dude. I appreciate it. You are very generous with the super chats. Yeah, so on Bombards, it's like even more disgusting. Like, what am I looking at? Like, it's gross. And like you're doing this to like everything in a line. Like, it would be one thing if that was like one target. That would be like impressive, but not a big deal. But it's like everything in a line. It's gross. It's totally gross. So yeah, this weapon is really good. The slash, like, it's kind of biased towards slash, but not really. I don't know. I think Corrosive and Blast is better than Radiation Viral. That's just my experience. So yeah. Anyway. Comb is legit. Yes, I was not joking. It's really, really good. You should do this. It's really awkward, but it's insanely good. Again, if you get even a mediocre Riven for this weapon that has like a little status chance to replace Nano Applicator and like some fire rate or some multi-shot, like everything in the world will like fall to your feet and cough up its loot like so much barf upon your arsenal. So, yeah. Boop, 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 boop. Catching up on questions. I'm so excited for Naja Deluxe. Okay. All Arcanes, Operator and Zatu. Yeah, so I already have, I actually have Arcanes for everything but Warframes pretty much done. I have the
best head for the hills.
I'm on fire.
Random Joe, thanks for the follow on Twitch. I already have the Operator Amp Arcane that I think is the best one overall, and I already have the Operator like Body Arcanes that I think are the best overall, and I already have all of the Exodias that are any good. So it's only a matter of getting like the normal Arcanes, but a lot of them are good. Like, unlike the other categories, like the majority, by a little bit, but the majority, and there's a lot of them, of the normal Warframe Arcanes are like pretty strong. So to at least demonstrate some of the better ones, I need to get them, which is a lot. What's the best weapon to kill groups of enemies from far away? Lens. There's really no best, but if you're gonna ask that question, you're asking for it, so Lens. I don't think that's gonna inform you very much, but that's the answer. What's your opinion about machetes as a weapon class? They've gotten a lot better now that we have Zaws. Where's my... Did I get rid of my Zaw machete? I might have. Let's take a look. I keep renaming them. Yes, Umami. No, it's still here. This, if you make this, it's like kind of messed up. Like, it's really strong. The Cyclone Kraken stance, Cyclone Kraken as a stance, is wicked strong. Like, the hitboxes are really good. It's got like headshot movements, which is just silly for single targets. It has good, like the Syath is a very good strike, and it's the one that makes a slash Zaw for machetes, which is really good. So that's awesome. You can very easily build it hybrid. Super boring build, super insanely powerful build. Literally just one build to rule them all with absolutely no flexibility whatsoever, and then like put on friggin', I don't know, Exodia Contagion for some utility, throw Spectral Cyclone Krakens at people. And like the block combo is really good, the spam combo is really good. I might refresh my memory if I look at them. One of the pause combos is also wicked good. Anyway, it's insane. Like, Zaw machetes are insane. Other machetes are unfortunately really bad. This is one of the weapon categories where like building a machete is like a gigantic power jump from like a normal weapon. Very similar to rapiers, where there's no hybrid rapier and you can then like build one and it's insane. There's no hybrid machete and you can build one and it's insane, because the rapier and machete stances are good, or Cyclone Kraken is good and Vulpine Mask is good. The other machete stance is terrible. But the machetes and rapiers that we have are not that good. So it was a weapon category. The category was strong, but the examples of that category we had were just like trash. So if you simply make a good one, then it's insane. I will say that because of condition overload, the Ghazal machete is not like awful. Like, it's not that bad. It's slash based and has good status. Like, it's not that bad. But it doesn't hold a candle to the ZA ones. So yeah, I suggest though that you make one because they're awesome. For this specific ZA build, check out the ZA appendix. This is in there. The only ZA I have that is not in the ZA appendix right now is Archaeologist, which is a slash-based no Plaguestar polearm. The best TM Zandy certified, the best ZA polearm, which I kind of got to experiment with a Riven a little bit because as I've been telling you all, I want to show the type of Rivens that I think are actually interesting and fun because people keep saying like, I have this power Riven, and I'm like, I don't care. And they're like, well, why don't you care? And I'm like, because other Rivens are more interesting. And they're like what? And I'm like, you know, so I'm going to get them. So that's what I think about machetes. Scrolling down. Kevin, hello. Glorious. Avosk, hello. Peacemate, the Zeuge doesn't have the same damage per shot as other bows, so the idea that it's faster than normal bows is kind of an irrelevant comparison because it doesn't have the same damage profile as other bows. It has a lot lower damage per shot, but it has very good output. It is very good, I agree, like for its mastery rank, but keep in mind the Zeuge takes Argon crystals, so you can't do it. You can't have it until you get to the Void, so. Aim that gun down a corridor, exactly. Anywhere you point the comb becomes the worst place in the universe to be. Can you show us how well Twin Comac performs? Sure. It's not, just to be clear, so it's not, the output is good, like the objective output is good, but it's not that good against armor. Like if you don't help it in any way, it's not that good against armor, because it's a shotgun with below 100% status. But you'll see that like the output is alright, even against armored enemies. So we'll start shooting. And you see like it does take care of them pretty quick, like if you're close to them. But in general, like you have to be using the punch through. And against level 80 enemies like these with no armor reduced in some way, it's not pretty. Like it's not pretty. What you want to do is be increasing its damage some way, and then it gets like scary. So for example, not necessarily a use case I recommend, but not necessarily a bad one, would be like Nova, let's say. Make sure I have my actual Nova build, which is this. So Corrosive Projection we're adding, and we're also going to have, of course, Molecular Prime. We're going to kill these and respawn them. We need some energy. Okay. And we're going to Molecular Prime them with Corrosive Projection. So this is like I am ignoring armor instead of trying to strip it in some way. And as you can see now, it's like pretty respectable. Like that wasn't even, oh, this is the comb, sorry. What the hell? Okay. For a sec I was like, actually that's kind of bad. There we go, see, now it's really good. And you even bombards, like you don't even have good damage bonuses against them, and like you chop through them real fast. Like, and the heavy gunners, it's like sad. Like look at that. Like that's beautiful. So it's pretty good. It's a lot of investment for a weapon that is not very generally good. It's like only good in specific situations. But if you can get close to enemies and you just need raw output, like it's quite strong. Again, it greatly benefits from not needing to deal with the armor itself. If you help it in some way with damage multipliers, like I just showed, or if you just strip the armor, like you could use it with Frost with a really heavy freeze, or Ash with Seeking Shuriken or whatever, it is mostly slash based, then you can do some serious work. So another thing that you could try that I actually have not tried and we could take a look at, is it does have mostly slash, so you could do viral and try to get a little viral proc here and there, but you're not going to get that many slash procs, which is why I tend to think that's not that good. Hado. Also a really nice hipfire weapon. I was aiming down sights that whole time out of habit, but like there's really no reason to. Like this weapon doesn't have any aim anyway, like no accuracy anyway, so you might as well just not, you know. Anyway. Yes, so there you go. Speaking of nano in those mods, I finally got some use out of targeting subsystem with my Twin Comac. Yes, that is actually pretty good in the Twin Comac. It's not, I don't think it's as good as Ice Storm overall, but it It's good. Yeah. Targeting subsystem is worth if you want to play with it a little bit. Glorious. Okay. Monty Jacob, being on Twitch at the same time as another platform is against Twitch's terms of service if you're monetized, so I cannot be on both at the same time. They need to bring back Plague Parts, I agree. I'm sure they will. I'm sure they will, though. Leonardo, hello. 60 viewers and 11 likes. Chat, press like. No, it's fine. It's fine. It's a good statistic to see how many people of the people in chat press like. It can be very helpful. Wowrude, hello. Oh, Wowrude, what's up? Wait, is there a Limbo framework coming in the near future? Yes. Leonardo, I feel like it's worth saying that I'm not giving you that much information by saying that because we're almost done. Like, we've almost done everything. So the first run of framework is nearly finished. We'll probably be done in about a month. Within a month, maybe. There are very few left to do. It's like, I kind of want to do another one for Titania, but I kind of said what I want to do about Titania besides Razorwing Blitz, but it's not that complicated to build for. Wowrude, no, a framework, not a rework. They're not changing Limbo again. At least I don't think so. We're gonna get his Prime this year probably, so maybe they will change it more. No, a viewer requested to see Limbo, but I don't really have a lot to say because I'm not very good at Limbo. But I am gonna make a Limbo framework soon because he's one of the only frames that we don't have a formal framework for. By the way, Abhijit, I missed you before. I am using the new keyboard. It's really nice for gaming because it is just like an objectively better keyboard layout. But it can be a pain for like my editing software, for example. It's been a nightmare adapting that. And I actually right now have both keyboards plugged in. I'll try to show you. Wait, hold on. I have it blocked with my a little text window. So yeah, you can see like my keyboards, like I'm using this, but like this is also functional. And for editing programs, I've mostly been using this because it's just like ridiculous to rebind everything to this different layout. But it's much more comfortable, much easier to use this keyboard. And I really like it. It just it's not a good time for like using certain kinds of software because the default key bindings are just like so tailored to a normal keyboard. Again, like the keyboards have been made the same way for so long. What were the pieces used for the archaeologist besides the Scythe strike? It's Scythe, Sakala, and Equana 2 Jai, if I recall correctly. Let me you can check now, can't you? I could have sworn you could check. Let me see. If you go to equip, maybe? No. Anyway, I'm almost positive it's Scythe, Sakala, and Equana 2 Jai is the links. So yeah, it's that. Again, basically all you need to do to make like the best Za, according to me, is pick the strike that has the damage types and the whatever that you want. And if there's a tie for that, then pick the faster one. Pick the fastest hitty part, or if you really hate how it looks, then pick the middle speed one. And then pick the links that are the combination of the fastest and give you 14% critical chance and 25% status. If you're using one of the Plague Star strikes, then shift it so the extra stats are in status instead of crits. So do that. Somebody said, when and why would you use IPS mods over other mods? Almost never. One of the only times is when you're trying to bias a weapon with a ton of status toward a certain status. So for example, let's find, you all know what weapon we're going to be talking about. Tigress Prime, where are you? Okay. God, this weapon is such a beast on one forma. So this is my tri-shot Tigress that I was trying out. But that's not optimized. So let's show this. So this is like a super normal Tigress Prime build. With 100% status toward radiation and viral. This weapon is almost entirely slash damage, and then multi-shot, base damage, and sweeping serration. You run sweeping serration because it makes very close to all of your damage be slash procs, which is what you want. You want like one viral proc. You don't care about the radiation procs. You just need more status chance. and then you want as many slash procs as possible. And Sweeping Serration leans your damage more toward slash. Remember, elemental procs are weighted less, but even so they're weighted a fourth as much. That means that rounding this down to like 12,000, just for the sake of easy mental math right now, you have like 3,000-ish of this damage type, 3,000-ish of this damage type, and then without Sweeping Serration, blah, you have 8,000 slash. So 3,000, 3,000, another 1,000, another 1,000. So actually your chance to get a non-slash proc is around the same as your chance to get a slash proc before you put this on, which is not what you want. You want like one viral, you don't care about radiation, impact, or puncture, and then you want the rest to be slash. So doubling your slash actually makes this weapon do way more damage, even though the actual numerical slash damage is not really meaningful. Like, that doesn't matter. You're getting way more slash procs. So this is a gigantic jump in damage. But again, the raw damage is not that relevant. So what I'm going to say to explain like when you should use these, because it's almost never. You should almost never use IPS mods. In general, so IPS mods are calculated with overstacking damage, like for one build to rule them all, the same way that elements are. So let me show. I think I was doing this on the Astilla yesterday. Hold on, let me check. But we can use it for an example. Hold on. So this weapon, here we have one build to rule them all for the Astilla. We're missing one mod. The Astilla has a good amount of slash damage, not majority. Well, a majority, but only by a little bit. Not a majority of its damage, but the most of one damage type is slash. So if you wanted to, you could bias this damage more towards slash to get more slash procs, but giving it more, let's say it was all slash, or it was like all impact or something that didn't give you more good procs. By like just adding this to add more slash is not a good way to increase damage, because that's additive with your elemental mods. Like the fact that you have this this elemental damage doesn't make this mod better. So all three of these mods don't make each other better, and if you've seen one build to rule them all, you know that's not good. You don't want to add mods that don't make each other better as much as you can. So they're kind of like bad elements a lot of the time, or like unreliable elements. I really need a better example. I'm sorry, that was like a questionable example. Let me try to think of something better. Are daggers mostly puncture? No, they have a good amount of slash. We need something that's like all puncture. All right, there we go. The Destreza comes through. Let's take a look. So this weapon, where's my? I have Buzzkill, I have Collision Force, but do I have the puncture one? That is the question. I probably don't. Sundering Strike. Well, okay, fine. This will work for now. So 90% Sundering Strike is the same amount of bonus whatever as you'd be getting from like a normal element, so like Molten Impact, right? So the difference is that, first of all, this is not actually giving you 90% more damage, because not all of your damage is puncture, but on the Destreza, almost all of it is. So to be fair, it's still pretty close there. And then this is giving you literally 90% increased DPS. Now, the reason that this is worse is because you can't combine it into an elemental combo, which could give you some better status or whatever, for one. And two, because, again, it is less damage than an element. Like, it is usually less damage than an element. And even if the weapon has, like, almost all of a damage type, and you use, like, Buzzkill, like the better ones, the 120% ones, it's, like, about the same as an element, but then you get a proc that you don't want most of the time. Again, that's where slash is an exception, because you're biasing more toward those procs, but you want the elemental combo. And when you're building weapons in general, you're looking for, like, let's make a build for this. And if you've seen one build to rule them all, it's going to be exactly what you'd expect. So Condition Overload, obviously. Blood Rush, obviously. Pressure Point, but we're probably going to have to use a normal one. I don't think I'm going to have enough space. Let's use a normal Pressure Point. And then we want, so we have Blood Rush, so we want Berserker and Organ Shatter. Berserker is going to be our attack speed increase. Oh god, why did I leave? And Organ Shatter. I know I'm wicked behind on chat, so bear with me for a sec. Berserker and Organ Shatter. And then we want our element and our combo counter mod. So we want Drifting Contact. And then the remaining multiplier, we have the combo counter, we have attack speed, we have condition overload, we have crits, we have crit damage, we have base damage. The only multiplier left would be like flat damage increases that are not base damage. And the only two types of those available are IPS mods and elemental mods, like Fever Strike or whatever, but also dual stat mods. Dual stat mods not only also give you status, which is better than not also giving you status on almost every weapon in the game, although kind of not on the Destreza. But this is just an example. They're also better because they can combine into an elemental combo that has a better damage bonus. So it's almost always better to use an elemental combo, and even if it's not for some reason, like even if the weapon has innate of an element, so for example, let's say we're using the I'm looking for the Lacera, there it is. Even if you're using, let's say, the Lacera, we're going to make the same build on this. I really wish I could just bookmark mods so I can put these, like, dump the same mods into the build every time. We're going for Drifting Contact still, definitely on this weapon. We want, I'm totally spacing out, Pressure Point. Again, just pretend, friggin', this weapon doesn't have dual stats. Oma. Okay, that's my other backup. Where's the Oma? Let's search for the Oma. Sorry, this is like the least streamlined example of all the examples. Does this have it? Oh, but here this was better. It's kind of not though. Anyway, let's use this as an example, but we're gonna go over here. All of these are bad examples because there's like things that make it not the best combination, but still, we'll show this same build, whatever. We'll work with the same build. So pretend this is Condition Overload. This is Condition Overload. So this is one build to rule them all, but this weapon has innate electricity. So if we take off Voltaic Strike, we still have Corrosive. Adding Voltaic Strike, besides the status chance gain, which is why it kind of ends up being better, is not good, because we already have the elemental combo we want, and that's the only reason that putting on 2 of the same multiplier is not bad, because normally it's giving you an elemental combo that's better, and because the proc is better and the damage bonus is better and whatever. But in this case, you can do that with 1 elemental mod, so you don't want a second mod of that multiplier, because it doesn't multiply your other damage. Now, fact aside that this is a pure elemental weapon, so you can't use the IPS mods, but pretending that it was, like, you don't want more elemental mods. Like, that's bad. Like, don't put more elemental mods on. The ideal in this situation would be to have enough space to add, like, Primed Reach or something, like add a utility mod or Healing Return, because you get so little out of adding an additional element unless it's giving you a better damage multiplier, a better damage type, but it's not, so you don't want to add that. So because of that, even though these mods give you like a big damage bonus, even if the weapon was purely that damage type, they never end up being good, because once you've added your elemental combo, the benefit of adding more flat damage increases that are not base damage is so small, and you never have space. Like, there's no way you would have space. Like, even on a weapon that has I'm trying to think of a good example of this, but like even a weapon that doesn't have, let's show, oh man, it's so hard to think about this. Let's talk about like the Cassowar maybe. It's so hard to like think of a good example. There are examples of this, but it's hard to find them. Like the Cassowar. So this is a weapon that doesn't have crit stats. So instead, we just have this build, which is also all unique multipliers, except the elemental combo, but that's good because it's an elemental combo. You can see that we don't need the crit mods, so we substituted Berserker for Prime Fury. We substituted Condition Overload, or we still have Condition Overload. We substituted Blood Rush for Healing Return, and Organ Shadow for Primed Reach. So we are increasing our damage with that. We now have healing, so that's an advantage over using a Blood Rush hybrid weapon with Condition Overload as well. So this weapon still does really good damage, and it does it in a bigger area than most Blood Rush melees, and it heals you, unlike most Blood Rush melees that have the hybrid one build to rule them all, which is great.
I'm on fire.
However, it does not have any other space. So even if we wanted to add, like if we had a 9th mod slot, there would just be like nothing to put on this weapon. Like imagine there was a 9th mod slot. What do you run? Like you can't run Blood Rush, you can't run crit mods. Even if this weapon had a ton of 1 damage type, adding one of these elements adds like a tiny amount of DPS, like a minuscule amount of DPS. And in a lot of cases, it would bias your damage towards something you don't want. Like, unless it's Slash, you want Corrosive more than those Slash procs. And if it was Slash, then you would just be running Viral, and then you already have those 2 mods, so it's only biasing it a little bit more, and the Viral's already weighted a lot less, so you're getting almost all Slash anyway, and it's bad. So the answer is almost never. You almost never use these mods. They're almost always bad. But when they're good, they're really good because they're biasing the damage more in a direction. The only time that I can think of in all of Warframe that it is good to run these mods for something other than biasing a weapon towards slash is when you run this with Atlas. His punches are all impact, and this is actually a pretty good damage bonus for your open slot on Atlas's punches, because he doesn't really take crit or status well, so you have literally nothing good to build, so you might as well just pile on damage, and this is the best way to pile on damage after your elemental combo and all your base damage stuff. And even then, it's not that good, but like it's better than nothing. Primed Heavy Trauma is better, and once you have that, it does almost nothing to add this mod. But there isn't much else to add, so... anyway, I hope that's a good explanation. I wanted to explain the logic instead of just saying the answer, so I hope that made sense. Someone said the gold on the comb, where's that from? I know I'm way behind on chat. We will catch up. This is probably rose gold from Storm. Oh no, it's Shamrock. This color from Shamrock, which is out now, I think, right? Go get Shamrock Palette. Is Shamrock Palette out? I think someone said that to me. You can get a very similar color from here. You see that's almost the same. Very, very, very similar. And then even not totally similar, but this is also pretty similar. If you want like a pro, wow, that's actually even more similar. So yeah, if you want that, it's one of those colors. It's mostly because of the Harkonar skin. The Harkonar is the skin has this really bright metallic, this really glossy looking metallic that I actually kind of like, and it just looks a lot better than the base comb, I think. Anyway, okay. Let's catch up on chat. Holy crap. All right. I still want to talk about Volt Unvaulting. We talked about the Volcar Wraith, and Limbo being useful. That is still an open topic. Amirul, hello. I'm sorry that I was in the middle of that rant and I didn't say hi. Hey Zandy, would you still recommend the Buzzlock and Chroma for Eidolon hunting? Yeah, like it's still good. It's just that there are a lot of weapons that can do pretty much as well. And it's a little bit difficult to tag the Eidolon, the Gantualist and the Hydralist. The Synovias on their back, like way up on their back, it's kind of hard to tag those with the dart, in my experience. So, I don't know. It's like if you're using Lalanka, then you get to try more times. And with the Buzzlock, it's like you try one time, but then if you hit, like you don't have to get it right anymore, which is... yeah, you know, it's a thing you can do. It's a trade-off you can make. And you can do that. Trev Soda, you said that says 13k, not 3k. When I was talking about the Tigress Prime thing, I explained why that's the case. So again, just to clarify, elemental damage types are biased a fourth. So for the sake of easy math, rounding these down to 12k, let's say this was 12k elemental damage, that is weighted for procs as like 3k elemental damage. So that's why I said that. I know it says 13k, I'm not blind. I'm just explaining how procs are weighted less. And again, just for the sake of easy math to demonstrate it as an example, a lot of these things are not actual whatever math, they're like example math, because getting into the math is really boring. Anyway, how long does a suspension take to in-game chat take? Yeah, probably a while, because there's a decent chance that you deserve it. So I don't know. I don't have much to say to you there. I find that a lot of the time that people get banned, they deserve it and they're just upset and they don't want to be banned, but they deserve to be banned. So I don't know what to tell you. Wait a sec, is the Strun Wraith not supposed to be even better than the Comb with the Riven? Strun Wraith doesn't even need a Riven to be kind of insane. It just doesn't have the output the Comb has, so you can build like this, for example. It's really easy to get this weapon to 100% status, so let's show like without you only need 3 dual stat mods to get this weapon to 100% status, which is awesome. Here I've biased it more toward electricity, but only for lack of something better to do. And this weapon has good crit stats now, so I probably wouldn't do that anymore. Don't really need Chilling Reload that bad. Then I would probably drop Scattering Inferno for Cold. Let's do Cold instead. I haven't used this weapon since they slightly changed it. So we'll add Prime Ravage, we'll add Prime Point Blank, we'll add Blunderboos, and have a grand old time. Let's shoot this at some stuff. I actually haven't used this with crit yet. Before it was like a bit questionable with crit, but they rebuffed it like a little. Rebuffed, not in the normal, different English sense of that word. Boop, 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 boop. I have terrible aim. Boop, 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 boop. And this is like not from like right in the face range. Like a lot of people pause the AI and then shoot them right in the head. This is like you can actually do this in a mission while enemies are moving range. Like, and it's really, really good damage. Even against bombards, it's still like 2.5 shots. If you get good headshots, you can probably do it in 2 shots. Yeah, like that guy might bleed out. Yep. So it's really spicy. Fun weapon to use. Really, really fun weapon to use. If you have not gotten a Strun Wraith, I definitely recommend it. Lots of wrong hotkeys. Okay. Bam. Okay. Jamalio, hello. Welcome. Try Strun Wraith, yes. Toxic Rising, hello, welcome back. Big Green, Atlas's one is affected by Rivens, I believe. Yes, but we have no way of knowing whether that's intended, and all other abilities that are like that, like Warframe powers that take weapons mods, are not affected by Rivens, and they've said before that that's not supposed to be the way it works. So I would never advise people to build that way because they're probably going to change it. Don't buy Rivens for Atlas. They could change it any day. He's getting primed this year, or no, but he's getting primed kind of soon, so I wouldn't invest in it. He's probably not getting primed this year. He's probably getting primed next year, I think. Right? Because Chroma, Limbo. Anyway, I wouldn't invest in that. They probably will change it at some point. Hi, do you have any advice in an Opticore build? And Riven. I'm on roll 25 and a bit lost. So yeah, let's talk about that. So the Opticore, interesting related to status. We were talking about like using one elemental mod unless you need like more. Let me catch up on chat first, but I'll answer the thing about Opticore. This is my Opticore build, and I'll explain why in a sec. Can weapon skins change stats? Bebop, there are some like really small stat changes from melee skins, but they say on them, and otherwise no. Boar Prime or Strun Wraith, they're very different weapons. Boar Prime is pretty much entirely just like a status cannon. Strun Wraith does very good actual damage. Boar Prime is not amazing damage, but the status output, I would say, is a little bit better overall. Much easier to spray everywhere. Or just an oversight because you didn't care about Atlas until 2 weeks ago. Yeah, that's true. That is true. It might be intended since it's technically not an exalted weapon. Yeah, but I really don't think so. I think they just like didn't code it in such a way, you know. There are some vestiges of like that type of coding where it's a little weird that Exodias affect exalted weapons. Like that's a bit odd. Like I don't know. I bet they'll keep that because they think it's cool, but like I don't know if that was originally intended. I think that might just be lazy coding. Okay, so let's talk about, we are caught up. Okay, what are the best shotguns to form first? The ones you like. Seaboy, the Heck is worth forming. If you have the Boar Prime, the Strun Wraith, or any Tigris variant, or Vacor Merlock, or whatever, I think those are all worth forming. Form the one you like. Almost all the shotguns in this game are really good. The Corinth is good. There's very few shotguns that are not good. I wouldn't form the Convectrix. I think it's fine, but it's not great. We were testing it yesterday with no Forma, and I don't think it's going to be like amazing when we get all the Forma on it, but yeah, it's still not bad. If you really like it, it's fine. Dragoon is fine. They're all fine. The ones you like. What do you like? What are you looking for from a shotgun? I could help that way. Like crits or status or 100% status or both or utility or raw damage or status stripping or spraying or, you know. Spicy. Okay. Okay, so the reason that this Opticore build is this way is because the Opticore is very, very, very bad at dealing like follow-up status. So if we look at the base stats of this thing, it's got 20% status, which is not bad, but as you know, by default, the Opticore, It doesn't fire very fast. So even if you put dual stat mods on it, like you're basically flipping like an elaborate and rather disadvantageous coin. Like, so we'll put dual stat on it, and then we'll also put multi-shot on it. Like, you have a 76% chance overall per trigger pull, even after multi-shot, to get one corrosive proc, and it's more likely to be a puncture proc. That's not a bet you want to take. Like, you have a less than 50% chance to get a one corrosive proc with one shot, and like, you don't want to be follow-up shotting with this weapon, you know, like how long it takes to charge up and stuff. So this is one of the very few weapons where I think the status is not worth it, because you have so few instances of damage, and it's so likely that you're not going to get your corrosive proc or whatever, and it's not slash, that I think it's better to simply run a single element to get the most out of your damage multiplier, and that is Prime Cryo rounds. So cold is like the best all-around damage type in the game by a little bit for this type of weapon. I would almost say Toxin, but I think cold is a little bit better. So cold is good against alloy armor and shields. It doesn't have a bonus against ferrite armor, but you already have puncture for that. So this gives you the best, like, evened out upfront damage bonuses, and in one shot. And then you have one mod. This is the primed mod, the primed elemental mod for rifles. So you get the most damage out of one slot, and then you're not spending 2 slots on things that don't increase your multipliers, a la one build to rule them all. So in that case, you have an open slot, an extra open slot. So you can run heavy caliber, which does almost nothing to this weapon, which is really good, and speed trigger, which you want so you can fire your actual shot faster. And as you can see, with an upfront build, like, we're reducing the armor ourselves a little bit, and then we have molecular prime. This was in my framework, and this is what I use on Nova normally, because she helps it kill things in one shot. So we're going to wait for it to reach these enemies. And you can see that with a headshot, you do really nice damage. You're not going to kill everything in one shot, but if you get your crits, you're going to be just fine. Again, when you get your crits, you're good to go. And it's really nice. Like, that's good. Like, that's fine. I'm fine with that. It's not, like, gonna kill everything in the world. I do think the Opticore is a little overrated, but it's good. Like, being able to kill enemies like that in one shot without stripping their armor is really nice. Not super consistently, but not totally inconsistently either. So, that. So that's what I recommend. If you're gonna get a Riven for it, it's kind of hard because, again, like, you're kind of running out of things to put on this weapon. I would definitely recommend crit chance. This weapon's crits are really inconsistent, and that's really painful, but it's got a very good multiplier. Crit chance, maybe fire rate, maybe reload speed. Crit chance, fire rate, and reload speed, that would be spicy. I would like that. I would try to avoid elements because you're not going to get something... the combo isn't going to benefit you that much. I can't think of an elemental combo that's going to be, like, that much better for the amount of space it would take up. So, again, corrosive is a good elemental combo too, but spending 2 slots on that if you don't get the proc bonus is usually not that good. Start becoming bacon. I don't know how to do that. D does need to add a trade market, I agree. My 5 most used weapons are all heavy blades. Does that mean I'm an edgy boy? Yes, you have all the edges. I gotta eat. Gotta feed myself. Someone's asking about a hybrid build on the Legion. It's got 5% critical chance and a 2.0 multiplier, so I'm going to let you figure out the rest yourself. Remember, it's perfectly fine to have just status. There's nothing wrong with that. It's more only crit that's a problem because you can't do anything about armor. Like, if you run into armor, you're just, like, stuck. This is only okay. One of the only weapons in the entire game this is not a big deal on. is the Destreza, because the stance has 4 slash procs. The Jat Kisar, because the stance has 4 slash procs. These weapons have a lot of crit, which increases those slash procs, and then the stance gives you the slash procs, so you don't need the status. They're still better. They would still be way better with status. And even then, like, Jat Kisar is really good, but like Mios is like surprisingly competitive despite the much tamer looking stats. So yeah, you shouldn't build a straight hybrid build on Legion. I'm not gonna be. I don't mean to be tongue in cheek. I just think it, like, if you look at the stats, it's obvious that you don't want to build, like, Blood Rush is silly on this weapon. However, it's got the multiplier, so you could run Maiming Strike. I don't really want to do that, but you could do it. Like, it would increase your damage by a lot. Like, your slash damage would go up a lot. The Legion is really only held back by the fact that its heavy slash damage is not improved upon by crits, where crits are one of the only ways to make slash procs better, besides viral. So a viral crit slash weapon with status is really, really spicy. So it's usually better to use Azah. The Legion is a little outclassed at the moment. However, because of its really consistent status and its unique thing of adding element to itself, it adds toxin to itself. You can do funny things, like here I have Just North Wind, and if you add, like, when you get the status effect, your cold will switch to viral, and then you have that. And it's weighted, like, more the amount that you want to get a consistent proc within your first few swings with Weeping Wounds, which is nice. Like, that's fun. There's some other janky things you can do with that I'll save for a surprise at some point later. But, yeah. So you could do a Maiming Strike build, but yeah, I mean, it's 5% crit chance. As soon as you see the amount of crit chance, you know whether you should build crit or not. With 14% status Zod, do you use Condition Overload? Yes. Oh, wait. That's not the question to ask. No, wait. Spank Tank. So, first of all, your Zah shouldn't be 14% status. You should get more status. If you're gonna make a hybrid build, you should use more status. If you're just building a Zah for crit, that could be fine. There could be uses for that. Like the weapons that have 4 slash procs, like daggers, for example. You could build a pure crit dagger. That's what mine is. I have that. 32% crit chance, 10% status. What you're looking for with Condition Overload is more than one status effect. Can you consistently get more than one status effect before you kill the target? If so, use Condition Overload. If not, don't. If your weapon has pure one element, so like the Oma here, your weapon has only one element and the stance doesn't have a lot of force procs, Condition Overload is actually not that good. This was an experiment I was doing with a certain elemental frame, but that will remain nameless for now. So no. But if your weapon has any forced procs in the stance that are different from the procs you're going to get from the weapon swinging, or at least 2, like, within reason, you're going to get at least 2 status effects, Condition Overload becomes, like, kind of the best mod in the game, and you should run it. A lot of the time, 14% status will be enough on weapons. And I mostly would say yes, but I would also say, like, you shouldn't have only 14% status. You should build a Zah with more status. Boop. Okay. Hold on, I still want to eat. Okay. Nikana Prime. Machine Neil, you said, I want to see your build for Nikana Prime. It's one build to rule them all. I actually have the wrong build here because I did not know as much about the game when I was using Nikana Prime, so we need to fix it. And we shall. Let us go forth and fix it. Oh god, this is so wrong. I was probably using this for Exalted Blade. In fact, I was definitely using this for Exalted Blade, which makes me feel a little bit better, but still, ugh. So let's make the build. Nikana Prime is one of the most generic weapons to build in the game because it's literally just good at the melee things. I recommend that you build Viral as your element, but besides that, there's nothing else to say, really. You should build the one build to rule them all build. I kind of hate saying that, people, but it's the best build on, like, every weapon. Organ Shatter. Where are you, Organ Shatter? And then we need Blood Rush. I don't think we're going to be able to fit everything. Hold on. Let's see what I can do. See what we can do. But yeah, it's very good. Don't get me wrong, it's a very strong weapon, but it is Oh, we don't have enough space with prime pressure point. That makes me sad. That makes me frowny brownies. Let's get the normal pressure point, as it were. Make it look pretty, real quick. Yeah, do this. And I recommend using Blind Justice as your stance. There's a really nice combo that I think people don't use. A lot of people use, I see people using this combo, the block combo, which is good. There's like this slash in particular is very nice. And then the slam is a little, but it's movement, you know, that's fine. But personally, I highly recommend that you use the pause combo. So hold right out of the gate and then spam. And you get this really, really nice cleave with a lot of hits. So again, just hold immediately like you're doing a charge attack, but you go into this combo and then you just spam. Super, super easy, really, really nice. If you hold after a different hit, then you'll do a charge attack, but hold right out of the gate and you get this nice 2 forward stabs and then a bunch of spins. Really, really nice. Super, super powerful. Let's use this. Let's not have corrosive projection. Let's use someone who doesn't have corrosive projection. Bobbin, my child? Good for you. Okay. You're the lucky winner. Alright, Bobbin. I hope you practice your katana skills. I don't think you practiced your katana skills. Oh god. That's my chat window. Okay. So we're going to do this combo with no multiplier on a cold start. And you can see that enemy's dead. And that was on a cold start, which is really nice. And now with a bit of combo counter, enemies just immediately die from that combo. And it's awesome. So yeah, this weapon is super good, and again, the block combo is still fine. Like, you see those enemies that got roasted from that. Let's fight Bombards. This is going to be even better because they have less health. Their armor is better, but it doesn't matter because we're doing a bleed build. And as you can see, it just tears through stuff real nice. It's great. Groups of enemies, really nice with this combo. Ooh, dirty. Dirty and spicy. I don't recommend the spam combo, like the do nothing combo, because it has a pretty long animation lock that you might have seen. See, at the end there, you get like, you have a lot of downtime between swings, and it's just not that many hits. You can see that's a lot weaker. So this is a weapon where not using the good combos makes it like a lot worse than using the strong combos. But as you can see, if you do one of the combos, then everything in the universe dies in an instant, and it's awesome. So that's what I have to say about that. Remove Virulent Scourge for Prime Fever Strike on the V polarity. The reason that we don't want to do that, so you're suggesting doing this, is because we really want the status. We're not gaining... 52% status is a little shallow, and we really want the slash and viral because that's how we're killing stuff with this weapon. So I highly recommend that you don't do this, even though it, you know, for me, it solves the problem. You can put the full build in. You do way more damage if you do this instead, because you need that status chance is what is killing the enemies. Having more viral is not what you want. Not a bad spot though. I mean, you can add more raw damage in. If you were going to build this for corrosive, that would probably be slightly better because it would bias your damage more toward corrosive procs, which would become what you would want. But for this build, it's way better to have the status. In fact, if there was a mod that was literally just status, I would, on this build, I would probably put it in over, like maybe even over Condition Overload, because having more status procs would make this way more powerful. Condition Overload is not pulling too much weight here. I don't have a Lacer build, currently experimenting with it. I have all the Blade and Whips because they're all really good, but I don't have a Lacer build that is anything to show. I just have stuff on it. Oh baby, I love the Nikana animation so much. Why doesn't anyone use this arrow? Some people use this arrow. It's got a really good Riven disposition. This arrow has pure electricity too, so you can make pure corrosive, and it's got very good range. I think that the reason people don't use those weapons, like Danielle, another example would be the Tonbo, whereas I made that recently at Salmon's request, the Tonbo. As you can see, this weapon's default stat spread is low crit and high status, and I think that a lot of people are not yet aware of how good just status is, like how well you can do with only status. This weapon is quite good, the Tonbo, I mean. It's basically a worse... it's a slightly worse overall Cassowar that has lower speed but better slash, better percentage of slash, which is good. Very good. Not amazing, but not bad at all. A very good weapon with very good reach, crazy reach. This is a nice mechanic where when you do a slam attack, you have a good chance to proc blast. So if you hit like a lot of enemies with your slam, which is a big radius, you can knock down like a ton of people because the blast will hit enemies outside your radius, which is super cool. Very good weapon. And the Sero has that same mechanic, and also has really good range, and also has mostly status. It doesn't have slash, but it has innate electricity, so it's a lot of corrosive, or whatever else you want to do with electricity. Corrosive. It's good. I think it's not underrated. People just kind of forgot. Oh, okay. There's still enemies on this map. Apparently. Is Sylvan Aegis Prime still great without Final Harbinger? Let me just refresh my memory on stances. Sylvan Aegis Prime is really good, but no. Don't do that. That's you don't want that. Sword and shield weapons without Final Harbinger, I'm gonna say no. Being able to do this and like YOLO like spin into enemies is like what you need. These combos are legit. This is like one of the best stances in the game. I don't even know, like, whoever made this, like, please God, make more stances. It's so cool. It's so good. You have like breakdancing attacks and this jump, and oh, it's so good. Very, 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 very good stance. I do not recommend using sword and shield weapons at all if you don't have that stance. But yeah, it's legit. Sylvan Aegis Prime is really good. If you don't have Final Harbinger, don't use sword and shield weapons. Also, Zandy, is it worth getting Dragon Nikana? I had it before, but I replaced it for the Nikana Prime, so what do you think? Nikana Prime is better. Dragon Nikana has a better disposition, but I don't think that you should get weapons just because they have a good disposition, personally. If you had a Riven for it before you got the weapon, then maybe you'd want to build it, but I do not think that is a compelling reason to get it over another weapon. That's just me, though. But yeah, Nikana Prime is better. Someone said, what's my preferred weapon for Excalibur? I will give you all a sneak peek of the Excalibur framework. It is Caused Assist, and I will explain why. I'll explain why in the framework, but I'll explain why now too. So Caused Assist, it doesn't matter what weapon you use for Exalted Blade, because Exalted weapons don't take the stats of the weapon. Most of you probably know that. So the only thing that could benefit you would be if it's either a Za, because then it could have Exodias, or if it has some effect otherwise that could benefit you. So for example, you could use one of the Syndicate melee weapons, like Telos Boltes. Where are you? Because this can hold your mods just as well as anything else can, and it has a passive that makes you parkour farther, which is not a very big benefit, but it is some benefit. So that's that. I use the Caused Assist for two reasons. First of all, because it has this blind charge attack goop that you can fire out. If you do a charge attack, you fire this fairy barf that blinds enemies. So here, if we go over here, and Excalibur can already blind enemies, but if you run out of energy, that's the only time you'd be using your melee anyway, and you can still open enemies to finishers, as you can see. And this thing can pretty easily kill enemies by itself as well. So that's one bonus of the Caused Assist. You can fire this sort of stun goop, and then like you can still deal with enemies if you have no energy. You can still blind them, and you can still open them to finishers, which you would lose if you had no energy. And again, if you have energy, you're not going to use your melee weapon, so it doesn't matter. So that's nice. That's a nice little backup thing you can have. And the second reason is that the Caused Assist is the only melee weapon that has innate corrosive damage, which is really good because the best way to get the most damage out of your Exalted Blade is to use this build. This build right here, this exact build, this build, copy this build. I usually don't say that, but copy this build. I need one more Forma for a Prime Pressure Point. This gives you healing return for a ton of automatic healing, condition overload, obviously, and then your stat spread that you want is you want to run electricity on your frame, so have an energy color that's electricity, and then on your melee weapon, you want Prime Fever Strike. You run electricity because you want the most corrosive, and you have a primed Toxin mod, so you want electricity on the frame, Toxin from that. So you have 250% corrosive damage, which is great with those combining. I don't know why I did this. And then you have the minimum possible blast because you don't want as many blast procs. You want the most corrosive and the least blast, but you want both corrosive and blast. And the best way to do that is this. So you have 120% blast and 250% corrosive total, which is the best combination you can get. So these exact mods. And this weapon, what that means is that you won't have corrosive on your actual melee. So in the very unlikely event that you want to actually use your melee weapon for actual meleeing, you don't get corrosive. And then you just have Toxin and Blast, which is not particularly good. So by having corrosive innately on the weapon, you get some armor stripping. Again, you have the least corrosive, which kind of sucks. But it's something, you know? Yeah, so this is the only weapon that I feel really gives you much benefit for running it. I said before that you could also use Zaws with because they could have Exodias, and Exalted weapons take Exodias, but none of them are good with Excalibur's Exalted Blade, which is really disappointing. They are literally no Exodias that are any good with Exalted Blade. Exodia Contagion is very good just universally, but unfortunately with Exalted weapons, here I'll show you. The Exodia Contagion has a sort of passive thing that it does, where, forget the mods on it. You jump, so you know, Exodia Contagion, you jump in the air, you do an air attack, you make these projectiles. Exodia Contagion has a hidden benefit that it causes you to not do slam attacks at like much of a, you have to be pointing like straight down to do a slam attack. You can be pointing mostly down and still get an air attack, because that's how you use it. That's the only way to make it useful, right? So it has that passive, but unfortunately, if you use an exalted weapon, that goes away. So I'm gonna fire at the same like down angle, but not as much, and see it's a slam now. So you kind of can't fire your Exodia Contagion at the ground. You see how before I was at that angle and I was able to shoot them there, but now I can't. If I put it away, I can. So unfortunately, the best Exodia doesn't work very well with exalted weapons, which sucks. So that's not that good. And then the other ones, the other ones that are good, Exodia Hunt, Excalibur's Exalted Blade has no slams, so this is not good. It has literally 0 slams. Exodia Force, this is just flat out bad. It's not just bad on Excalibur, it's just bad. The pulses come out of you, not your blade waves, and they can't crit, they can't deal status, and they don't add to the melee combo counter. So they're really, really low damage. It's just 150% of your base damage, 20% of the time you swing. Not good. Doesn't matter. Doesn't do anything. So, unfortunately, there are no Exodias that are good in Excalibur. Those are the only good Exodias. You can get a tiny benefit from running Exodia Epidemic, but the Caused Assist literally already does that, so like you can stun enemies in a line. This maybe makes it a little easier, but if you have energy, you're just using Radial Blinds. So unfortunately, none of the Exodias are any good with Excalibur's Exalted Blade, which makes me really sad. I was super excited about that, but he doesn't need to be more powerful anyway, so just use a badass looking Scythe and put this build on it, and you will instantly evaporate everything in your path. Let me just quickly, for the people that have not seen the evaporative properties. So we're going to get a status effect from my Dariga. Now I've growing power, take this out, blind these enemies, and they're just gone. Like, they're just goodbye. Like, goodbye to these enemies. Like, get out of my sight. Like, they die in like one hit. Like, that's disgusting. Like, I'm disgusted. These enemies over here got blinded. I didn't even mean to blind these enemies. Disgusting. Get out of my sight. Like, it's terrible. Like, you can do bad things to these enemies. Like, one finisher will kill anything. You can do terrible things to these enemies. It's gross. So yeah, Excalibur Framework is coming relatively soon, although it's a little redundant because there isn't that much new to say about him. But I might not do a new one for this run of Framework just because, like, he's going to be first, not first, but like very close to first in the new run of Framework. So you might not get a new video on him for like a month or two, but it's that's what it is. And if you want to just like steal that really quick, I'd be happy to flash you that. There you go. A Rubico build, please. Sure. That I can do. Zephyr Prime has... we've basically known that was true, but it's cool that it's confirmed. We should... let's take a look at the announcement, shall we? Oh, wait. Let me show the Rubico build first. Ugh. Someone says, thoughts on the Lacerai. It's very good. Any weapon with innate electricity is gonna be good because you can have pure corrosive. Blade and Whips are all really good because the stance is insane. This weapon has really high status, which is great. The only thing holding this weapon back is that there's another Blade and Whip that has status and crit, and another Blade and Whip that has just crit, and the stance is a lot of innate slash procs, so having crit is really valuable on Blade and Whips. which makes the Lacera a little less exciting. But the base damage is really good. And the status is crazy. Totally crazy. So, that. I'm really excited to look at Zephyr Prime. I really want to look at that. Let me quickly show a Rubico build. So the Rubico is pretty simple overall. Very, very one build to rule them all weapon. And, you know, I insist on scrolling through my weapons to find them like this, thinking that eventually I'll just know where they are. And after all this time, I still have literally no idea where anything is. So it's not working. Very one build to rule them all weapon. You can kind of pick whether you want to do 90% elements or dual stat elements. The dual stats are good. Like the status is fine. It's really low, but like you can do follow-up shots pretty easily. And with primed fast hands, which is the last weapon mod I would put on this weapon, you're going to be able to reload pretty fast. So I think having a little bit of status is kind of worth it. Even if you're not going to go for the status, I would recommend running like corrosive or cold, maybe solo cold as your element. Stuff like that. Prime Fast Hands is a great last mod. This weapon has a really slow reload and a really small magazine, but everything else about it is really good. It's got innate punch through because it's a sniper rifle. It's got really, really good critical stats. It's got fine base damage. Status is a bit meh, but like whatever. So that's what I recommend. Something like that. Elements, you can kind of do whatever you want. I recommend Prime Fast Hands. Incidentally, as if you've watched my Ivara framework, it's also a good weapon for Ivara for some kind of maybe initially counterintuitive reasons. Boysk, I know it's in alphabetical order. That's a silly piece of advice. I just mean like I thought that eventually after looking for them myself, I'd be like, oh, I know where that is. I know where that is, but I totally don't. I have no idea. Better to farm Condition Overload or buy it in the market. How much do you like farming? I would buy it in the market, probably. Something you should buy. Let's look at that Zephyr Prime announcement. Ooh, there it is. There it is. There she blows. Let's take a look. It will open in my browser. We will go look in my browser. Whoa. Holy crap. She does look like an alien. Damn. That's crazy. I kind of like it, though. I really like these, like, blade... like hidden blade Assassin's Creed, but like sideways, like garroting knife feathers. That's pretty spicy. I like that. I'm down with that. All right, that's gonna look cool. Whoa. Okay. Oh, this is the operator thing. For a sec, I was like, that's not what it looks like. Okay, that's the operator suit. That's still cool. It's all right. What weapons do we got? That's what's important. Cronen Prime. Ooh, that's why they gave us the. That's spicy. Ooh, Cronen Prime, eh? That must be what's on the back. Let's take a look at those. Oh, come on, you can zoom in more than that. Anyway, they look cool. Okay. We needed more tonfas. I'm cool with that. Okay, accessories are Tibor Prime Gene Masking Kit. Prime Gene Masking. No, get out of here. You need to give us Companions 2.0 before we're going to care. Okay, so the accessories, you've got to be kidding me. Don't buy those. But Zephyr, cool. Tiberian Prime, huh? Interesting. Boop. Cool. Should have released the Warframe with Zephyr Prime. Yeah, I don't know. I was hoping that we were gonna get projectile weapons because she's so good at buffing projectile weapons. I don't know. They never ship Warframes with weapons that are actually good with the Warframe. Like that always kind of bothered me. It always seems like, wouldn't it be cool if it was like, I guess it makes it less customizable, but it's like, and then it's not like, it's like, I don't like Zephyr, so I won't like any of the stuff. That's probably why they do it, but I don't know. How long until Bolt Ace Prime? Maybe never. That would be cool, but maybe never. The Golden Bird. Spicy. Is Rubico 100 munitions viable? It's got a very high crit chance, and the crit damage is really good. So you could totally use 100 munitions. In fact, that might be better. Let's put that together really quick, actually. That probably is better. I think that's a decent weapon for 100 munitions. The only problem with using 100 munitions on sniper rifles is that you don't get a lot of rolls for the slash proc per shot, but it's not that bad. Like, come on. You get kind of enough. Like, it's very consistent crits, so like you have a probably higher than 50% chance by a little bit to get one slash proc per shot. Yeah, like the that was some questionable math I just did, but you know, ish. What I would probably do if you're gonna do that is like, I guess take off Prime Fast Hands and then run like viral dual stat mods on the off chance that you get a viral proc. You probably won't, but if you do, it will add a lot. And then run 100 munitions. Or the other thing that you could do is keep Prime Fast Hands. This is probably what I'm gonna do. Keep Prime Fast Hands, add Primed Cryo as your only element because you have the status is pretty bad, and then run 100 munitions, and then you have your fast reload. You can do follow-up shots in case you miss your slash proc. That's probably better. You're not going to be able to get viral that easily. So, maybe. If Warframe packs the good weapon with the good Warframe, framework wouldn't need to exist. I disagree. I think that Trickstar, I think that there will always be multiple synergies, and when I do frameworks, usually if there's an ability that there's good synergies with, like good weapon synergies with, there are a few options a lot of the time. And I think that even if they shipped them like that, there would still be a good amount of wiggle room, you know? Big Green, the weapons are Tiberian Prime and Cronin Prime. Okay, somebody answered you. Yes, that's what they are. Golden Chroma must come one day. Yeah, he should be this year. We should get him pretty soon. Spicy. Some quick maths. Some janky maths. I want to build a snowman. No, I want no. I'm so sick of having snow. I like snow normally, but like it's been way too long. I've had this Nux building here forever as a solemn vigil to the fact that I don't think Archwing is a very fleshed out system. But it looks cool in the Foundry. That's what matters. It clips through the Foundry a lot, but it looks cool. Yeah, there you go. Look at that. Look at those maths. There you go. Oh, Michelle, you must have missed it earlier. Let me give you that. Again, very simple, super one build to rule them all, very standard hybrid builds. You use the augment and then you use the 7 best mods in the game. So it's kind of a boring weapon to build, unfortunately, but it's good. That's what matters, right? Are you standing? Yes, I am. I'm always standing. I have no chair. I am without a chair. It's getting really hot in here. Hold on a sec. Ooh. Okay, I'm gonna leave that open for a sec. Oh, damn, it's so hot in here. It's almost like I'm running a bunch of different lights and a computer setup with several keyboards and a subwoofer system attached. I wonder why it's so hot in here. Lens build. Oh boy. The lens is another one where it's like, there's not a lot to say. It's just the mods that are good. The good melee mods. There is a little bit of a choice to make in the lens with whether you want to use 100 munitions or not. So you can take a look at that. Here's what I use personally. I think this is more consistent. Heavy caliber does practically nothing to this weapon, so I definitely recommend it. Infected Clip and Stormbringer, so this is for like, you're not going to get status. Status is terrible. So just run Corrosive, and then you have a little bit of Cold, a little bit of Blast. Pretty rounded damage bonuses, which is great. Mostly this is only bad against nullifiers, but you're not going to shoot a lens at a nullifier, so it, like, whatever. It's not a big deal. It can be alright against it. Anyway, you get the point. But you can also do, let me see if I kept it. Nope. Let's try to show that. So let's say you take these off. Boom. Put that over there. We're going to add 100 munitions. And then you basically just add like the element you want. Again, I think Prime Cryo Rounds is ideal if you have the slot, because Cold is a good standalone element. But let's just say we do, you know, what the hell, right? We do Toxin, or maybe you could do Electricity, so you stun the enemies. You're still slowing them already, but Go figure. I don't know. I'd probably do, if you don't have prime cryo runs, I would do infected clip. And then this is pretty good in the sense that you're guaranteed to get the crits. So you can flip you can flip a lot of coins fairly favorably. But it's still not that consistent, and I found that in testing, this is not as exciting as it might seem. You get guaranteed crits if you get the slash procs, like they're gonna be good crits. So, yeah. Anyway, so I personally don't think that's that compelling, but it's a thing you can do. Otherwise, this weapon is incredibly simple to build. It's just one of the only weapons where you want upfront damage instead of status. One of the very few weapons where you want just normal damage instead of status. So you want to run this on someone who's increasing the damage you're dealing so that it can kill the enemies in one shot without armor stripping, because it can't really armor strip. I showed Nova before as an example of that, but you can see by the coloring, I actually use this on Gara because her glass also gives a like molecular prime-esque effect. Ooh, wow, it's so much cooler. Hello. Hi. My cat is sleeping here. She's been sleeping here all day and all night for the entire 24-hour period. Boop. Can I ask an off-topic question? Yes. I feel like we are off-topic. I feel like there's no topic. So yeah, totally go for it. I asked you a few streams ago, what do you think of the Endura? The Endura is bad because rapiers already have status automatically. And they want crit so that they can make their force slash procs deal more damage. There are two rapiers, the Endura and the Destreza. The Destreza has only crit and the Endura has only status. If you had to choose, it's better to choose only crit. For that matter, rapiers are one of the melee weapon types that gets the most out of being a Zaw, because you can build one with both. This weapon here, my Jabberwock, has both similar critical chance to the Destreza and similar status chance to the Endura, so it's basically just a strictly better Endura. There's no reason to use the Endura. You should not get the Endura. It's not bad. Like, if you have it, it's not like it's weak. You can still stack up statuses really, really fast and condition overload a lot. It's not that it's weak, it's just that the other rapiers are basically strictly better than it. And that is one of the only cases of a weapon where there is a weapon that is the exact same but just better. So I highly recommend you just make a Zaw, and even if you don't want to make a Zaw, just use the Destreza. As I recall, it's easier to get too, isn't it? I might be wrong about that, but anyway. It's also faster, and I think it looks cooler. The Endura looks interesting, but not that cool in my opinion. Anyway, okay. Oh, okay. Why are you standing? Because it's healthy, or because you broke your chair and you want to hide it? No, because it's healthy. Balancing the amount that you stand and sit is good. Standing too much is bad. Sitting too much is bad. I normally sit when I'm not on stream or playing video games or whatever, so I stand while I work because it is better to balance it out. If you already stand a lot, it's not healthier to stand. It's not like healthier to stand in general. It's like balancing them is what's good. Boop. This is very off topic, but if you are reading any books, most people don't read. I feel like a lot of people read. Educated people read. Most people who have, like, self-employed people, I feel like there's a strong trend that self-employed people read, at the very least. What's your favorite? Just interested in people's list. I'm currently not reading anything right now because I'm working on something that other people are gonna read. So you'll find out what that is soon, within a month. But one of my favorite books of all time is Hardboiled Wonderland and the End of the World. I might need to type that out in the description of this video. By Haruki Murakami. Murakami is a incredibly famous Japanese author. The translations of his works to English are very good. There's still a lot lost, but they're very good. And Hardboiled Wonderland and the End of the World is a very strange book. It comes in sort of pairs where every other chapter is like different, like not exactly different, but I can't describe it because I'll spoil it, but they're sort of different. There's like one story that's like this weird, washed out, kind of post-apocalyptic seeming world where people are in this walled city, and it's very atmospheric. And then there's this other one, which is like the real world, and it follows this character. And it's chaptered. One of the chapters will be that, the other chapter will be that, and then they alternate. You really just have to read it. It's very bizarre, but it's really good. It's really, really good. I highly recommend it. As long as you're up for something a little weird, like it's not going to hold your hand. Like it's not similar to other works you've read. It's not going to hold your hand. It's just going to throw you out the window and then pick you up on the floor in the street, but in a really good way. I highly recommend it. I recommend pretty much everything written by Murakami except After the Quake. I wasn't a big fan of that. That's a short story collection. So I really like pretty much all of his work, but I especially like Hardboiled Wonderland and The End of the World and Norwegian Wood. Norwegian Wood is like more of a romance novel. Still pretty bleak. He's a bit bleak, but in a really interesting way, and his view of the world is fascinating and a lot of fun to look at and consume. It's great. So that's what I have to say. Did Zephyr Prime get leaked? Zephyr Prime did not get leaked. She's been officially announced. Let's take a look. And by let's take a look, I mean I'm just going to show you this. There you go. Zephyr Prime arrives next week. You make this sound like Ulysses by James Joyce. No, it's not, it's not like that. It's not totally dissimilar. I showed my mom this book, and she recommended that book, and I was like, So, anyway. Let me go back up. Why didn't Joey Zero upload the weekly Warframe show? Trickstar, he's really busy. There's no special reason. He's just extremely busy. You probably know that content creators of his and my size don't do this full time. Like we do this, and then like we have part-time freelance work. We make a significant amount of money off doing this, but not enough to live off of. So like I do freelance writing and editing, usually in the morning, which is why my streams are later. And Joey Zero does video editing and stuff. He asked me not to say specifically, so I won't, but I know what it is. It's quite cool. But it's a lot of work. And he said he overcommitted on it. I think he'd be okay with me saying he just took on way too much work, and he's just been really busy. I've been meaning to start a podcast with him that I'm going to offer on my Patreon. At the $1 tier, you will get a weekly podcast between he and I. Was supposed to start a few weeks ago, but he's just been really busy. I'm ready. We have a time planned. He's just been really busy. So hopefully that will start really soon. And there will be podcasts every week. And every month we will have patrons vote on which one to give the YouTube community. So you will get to see some of them to see if you would like it. And then if you like it, then you can pay $1 a month on Patreon, get a whole bunch of other crap from either of us, and get that podcast. Because I want to give people something special. I've always wanted to give some people like something a little special for supporting on Patreon. Because Patreon has been very successful for me as someone who's this size, like tiny creator, very good Patreon. You've all been really, really supportive there. And just in general. So I want to do something a little special. JJ Biggie, hello. Okay, I only have a little bit longer, but we can still talk about stuff. Whoa, I missed something. Which launchers are munitions viable? You don't really need to ask specifically whether things are munitions viable. Hold on, let me just make sure I'm not. There's a phone call I need to be careful for. Okay. You don't really need to specifically ask too much about what's munitions viable. It's basically just common sense. Like if the weapon has consistent crits and you're not flipping a coin, think about it as flipping coins. How many coins are you flipping? Even though it's not 50%, like how many coins are you flipping? How often? And is that reasonable? Would you bet on that? Like you bet your safety on that? You're going to point your weapon at an enemy, then you're going to flip a lot of coins, and they're either going to die or not. Are you comfortable that they're going to die? Because if you are, then go ahead. I would say in general, if a weapon's output is enough that you're going to get munitions procs consistently, then go for it. An example would be in Ignis Wraith. 42% critical chance is not that high, but because beam weapons hit a lot of times per second, it's actually pretty consistent, like overall, and I find that this actually is like probably the best build for Ignis Wraith overall, like barring circumstance. Keep in mind that Hunter Munitions also gets better the better your crit multiplier is, because the procs will be critical slash procs, which magnifies their damage. And if your crit multiplier is better, that means that's one of the only things that increases slash damage. Being able to consistently have viral will make Hunter Munitions better. Having more multi-shot for some reason will make it more consistent because you get more flips, stuff like that. So I think output is important. Crit chance can be lower the higher the output is, but you don't want it to be too low. Like, obviously, the weapon has to be crit viable in the first place. 100 munitions is really good, but keep in mind that if you're stripping armor with corrosive, its value goes down a lot because you could just be doing upfront damage and killing the enemies because they don't have that much armor, whereas this is ignoring the armor, which they don't have that much of. So just commit. If you're going to use it, like, build around it. Don't just, like, throw it into every build that has, like, random stats. But yeah, I would say in general, like, if the weapon has those stats, you're good to go. This is my jungle flamethrower fashion, which you're not actually supposed to see, but there it was. Okay. Is Condition Overload affected by Primed Reach? They don't interact, but let's see what your example is. I have 5 status effects on my melee, and Condition Overload says I can get 60% per effect, so if there are 5 enemies and 5 status effects per enemy, so Loom Musgrave, Condition Overload is per enemy hit. It calculates per enemy hit, not per weapon swing. So it doesn't matter. They don't do anything to each other. So you just get the damage bonus on each enemy individually per swing, based on how many status effects the enemy has on them. It doesn't matter how many status effects your melee has, it matters how many the enemy has on them. So it's calculated per enemy. It's still good with Primed Reach, like, because you can put statuses on more enemies and then deal more damage to more enemies, but they're just both, like, the best mod, you know? Okay. Just got the fancy Zephyr Prime Tenogen, so I can't stand playing Warframes that I can't color my liking. Now they're bringing the Prime. Yeah. I thought it was Umbra Excal for a second. It kind of does look like that. Yeah, Leonardo, he can keep it up very easily. It's not, don't say that. It's really irritating when content creators have people tell them that they're burning themselves out. I know you might not mean it that way, but don't say that. That's really annoying. Like, we can manage our own schedules. It's not his fault that his work is giving him too much, you know, outside work is giving him too much. That's not his fault. It's not hard to make the weekly Warframe show. Like, it's not a lot of work for me. It's like another video a week for me, but it's very easy to do. He set it up in such a way that it's a very low time commitment. It's not a big deal. That's not why. It has nothing to do with the show itself. It's entirely outside factors. That's not from him, but, like, I know we've talked about this before, and he's said that. In fact, somebody commented on one of his videos pretty much the exact same thing you just said in one of the weekly Warframe show videos, and he said, like, pretty much verbatim what I just said in a comment. Chronon Prime. I'm building a library for myself. I'm going to put you in the folds of the book. Oh, cute. That's so nice. Can there be an audiobook version of what you're working on? So, Spank Tank, you're talking about, like, can you have the podcast that I'm making for Patreon as, like, an audiobook? I can offer it as an MP3 file, of course. There's going to be, I'll put, like, Warframe footage in the background of it, probably. It will be a YouTube video, privately uploaded or whatever. But I can, of course, I can definitely make it a sound file. That's easy. I'm sure somebody else would ask for that too, so happily, yes. No problem. And I can link that, through, the YouTube video. Like, when I upload the best one every month, I will do that. Okay. Yes, so totally. Leonardo Ungaro, I'm gonna have to specify because there's 2 of you, Leonardo's, Madruga and Ungaro. The unranked Malignant Force is just because I was testing damage and I have not formatted out as much as I had. You almost never see that in my builds, and I don't usually show the builds, like, incomplete in the way I want to make them. But that one I was testing something, so I did that. If your girlfriend or mom would be dying, who do you save? I don't think that's a deep question at all. It completely depends on how you feel about your family. And for me, I would, like, pretty much like, any day of the week, it's going to be my partners. Like, it's the people I picked to be in my life over the people that I, you know, just had in my life. MCIK, what's up? MCIK, I didn't know that you did YouTube stream stuff. That's cool. Welcome. What's going on, my dude? Oh boy, and the contents are already flying. Folks, be nice to our guest. Come on. Let's tone it down a notch, shall we? MCIK, it's been a while, my dude. What's up? I'm gonna do some while questions have been slowing down a little bit, I'm not going to stream for too much longer, but I'm going to do some Kuva Fortress, some Kuva Flood, because I'm re-rolling a Riven. Let's see, who should we do? Let's play Mesa. Let's play Gara. Let's play Gara. We're gonna Gara. This is the Gara framework. I haven't changed anything about it since we talked about it then. So if you want it, it's there. But we can talk about it too if you have questions about it, of course. Go for it. Rescue, eh? Ugh. Need some brain food. Need some brain food. Delicious. Yeah, anyway, Peacemate, your question about who to save based on if people are going to die. Again, it's interesting depending on how you feel about the people in your life, you know? For a lot of people, like, what they mean by a girlfriend or a romantic partner is not actually that serious, like, for a lot of people. They mean that more as like someone they're hooking up with, but consistently, and they might care about them, which is perfectly fine, but is definitely not the same thing as, like, for me, someone that I'm dating, like, I take the people I'm dating very seriously, and they're basically a life partner to me, so they are the most important person in my life to me, and I would save them over anyone, definitely. So for me, that's not a very interesting question, because that just means something to me that is not that variable. But I understand what you mean. It just depends what you think about your people. Zany, what would be your Grimlock build? So I don't have the Grimlock. I actually am working on building it. Oh, that's something we could do, because I need more polymer for it. So, yeah, I don't have it yet, but as I understand, it just has hybrid stats now. They buffed it, and now it has hybrid stats. Oh, sorry, we already found the Kuva Flood. I'm sorry. I'm a failure, folks. I'm here to save you all. Okay, and I immediately died. Greato. All right, let's save some fools. Let's make a little Walu. Do what we can. Oh boy, here we go. It's all coming together now, folks. That's right. We got that glass. We got that glass. We gotta spam that glass. Spam that ass. There we go. Oh, there it is. Oh, someone got it. Okay. It's like wall hacks. Glorious. Thales, I'm glad you think so. I'm glad you don't think it's barbaric, which is what I think a lot of people would think. Oh, baby, got it. Snagola. I think the Kleberg scaffold is like a little too much. I've said this before, but like, seems a bit severe. A bit severe. Maggie Tops, yeah, you can join. I'm gonna be farming, just so you know, I'm only doing this one Kuva Flood, and then I'm gonna do Polymer Farm. Yeah, Calby, I think Zephyr Prime Axis looks pretty nice. I think the items are questionable, but I think Zephyr Prime herself looks cool. Very, very cool. Very, very spicy. Ow. Ow. Savage. I challenge thee to a race. Leonardo, are you trying to be the only Leo? We can sanction an official race. Are you both on PC? That'd be fun. The who can be the real Leo in my chat race? Okay, please, enemies. You will not trifle with me in this manner. There we go. Save the hostage. Yeah, well, escort the okay. Save the hostage. Quick, spam your hotkey for using ciphers. What are those things called? Yeah, Shadow, of course. Zandy, what about Arcane Momentum on Rhino? Yeah, I mean, lots of arcanes can be good on lots of warframes. I don't think any of the ideas I've heard are bad. It's mostly a matter of getting them. Like, I think that at this point in time, the community doesn't really have them. Like, a lot of people who didn't have any before have not had time to get a collection of them, including me. And, like, besides just literally buying a ton of them, like spending a huge amount of money just buying them, which is not a good idea. I think that we need to wait until the community has more time to get that. Do the two mods that convert damage to energy stack? Yes, they do. Lumos Hunter, Adrenaline, and Rage stack additively. So if you have both, then you'll get 85% of damage you take as energy. I find that one of them, like having one of them, usually gives you more than you use. So personally, I don't highly recommend that. But I do have a patron who, the guy who worked on the Wukong framework with me, Free William, if you remember watching that, he swears by using both and says that it makes a huge difference. I have not found that it does. I think that one is usually more than enough. But oh, here, Edward, this is an interesting idea about the thing about who to save if people are dying. What if it's a married couple and they both want to sacrifice themselves? They both have no way out, because if one of them dies, the other will keep living with the sadness and guilt of their partner dying. I think it depends a lot on the type of relationship you have. Like, I know that, oh boy, what's this? Is this one of you? One of you infidels? Crispy Waffle, hello. Hawk is a bully. It's true. Unexpected. Crispy Waffle, thank you. Let's find a place for... Hawk is a bully. Look at him. Just look at him. Let's put this in with the wisps. Hold on, I want to put it in with the wisps. No, come on. Yeah. There we go. Hawk. I have a lot of noggles I have to place. I have a lot of decorating to do. Like, there's gonna be a ship 2.0 for my channel. Count on it, folks. He's like, Eidolon, listen. Feed me your parts so that I can make more OP Zaws. Eidolon's like, brrr. Hawk is like, that's disgusting. Do not say that about my mother. Okay. Yeah, I don't know, Edward. I think it makes a big difference what your relationship with your partner is like, because for some people, like Anna says what you said a lot, where she's like, well, I gotta die first or at the same time, because otherwise I'm gonna be sad. And I kind of feel the same way, but like I haven't always felt that way in relationships I've been in. Like, I think sometimes it's like, this was an event in my life, and if I live on afterward, that's like, okay. Now, I don't like want it to happen necessarily, but like, it's like all right with me. Where sometimes other times, like with Anna, like I would be pretty torn up if she was gone. I don't know. I still just like the way that I feel in my relationships is just not quite like that, though. I kind of feel like I still want to live on. I don't know. Like I would be very, very sad, but I would want to be here and be sad. I don't know. That's just how I feel. But I think that what you say applies to a lot of people. Like, a lot of people would say, like, I'm going down with them, you know, which I respect. It's just not how I feel. Leonardo, it's not that I personally mind, it's that my wallet minds, because remember, even so much as a stray flub of speech can get you demonetized. And personally, I kind of want this stream to pay for my food. So streaming on YouTube already doesn't make me that much money, so I want whatever I can get. You all know on Twitch I curse all the time. It doesn't bother me at all. It's just it bothers someone. What is this? Okay. Sorry. I'm getting weird stuff on my phone. So my my relatives have power out. They've had power out for like a while. So they keep they haven't had internet. So they're watching stuff on their phones. And they keep going over on data use, you know? And I keep getting emailed being like, you're running out of data. And I'm like, I don't think I am. Like, you mean because I'm connected to their plan? I am? I don't know. Leave me alone. Like, I'm not using data. I did not bind the boost key when I got my new keyboard. So unfortunately, we're going up. We're going up. Manually. All manual-like. Alright. Boop. Oh, right, my slide attack macro doesn't work. Oh, this is gonna be awful. Just awful. But we still have the comb, that's fine. I might fix that while we're on stream. Because I really don't want to manually slide attack. Whoa, nobody likes that. Ooh, it feels so bad. Oh, I hate the feeling of that. That sucks. All right, I might fix that. Hold on. Big Green, you said how do I enter the fashion contest? Big Green, go to my Discord, which is just below in the description of this video, and go to my Discord, and there's a channel called Fashion Showdown, and all you have to do is go in that channel, and there's a little survey, and all you have to do is click the form, and that will handle everything. It'll tell you what you can submit for. It will tell you what you can, how you submit. It will handle all of that for you. It'll answer every other question besides where to submit. So just go there, and you can submit. You can submit anytime. The contests are just rolling entry. Nothing to worry about there. This is actually pretty good with just spamming quick attacks, though. That's sad. Chop, chop, chop. Delicious. Look at that. Okay, I'm going to summon my clones, and I'm going to fix my slide attack macro. Ready, go. Everybody go fast. You won't be able to see this, but I'm going to Razor Synapse and going to macros, and no, wait. Oh, here we go. Warframe slide attack. Okay, come on, friends. You can protect me. Go do the thing. Slide attack. Control E control. So I've now bound the slide to page down. So this needs to become page down. Get rid of that. Insert. Oh no, this is gonna take way too long. All right, forget it. No, I thought I could do it really fast, but I cannot. I will use the default swings, the sad default swings. Summon some goons again. All right, so probably we're gonna farm a little bit of polymer so I can make the Grinlock, and then I'm probably gonna go. We've been on for a while, and I got places to go tonight. But again, tomorrow we're doing Drift Frame for a little exhibition event. Again, we're not sure if we're going to keep doing it. We'll see how it goes. Before, I didn't really have enough people to do it, but I think that might be better now. Like, we might be in a better place. We've grown a lot since I last did it, so give it a try. I knew there was an enemy. Oh, no, that's one of mine. That's one of mine. Garbage. And so we'll see how it goes. I'm giving away an Octavia Maestra collection from DE during that at some point. And you can also win my glyph if you win the races. If someone wins that already has my glyph, they're allowed to give it to someone else if they want. So you might just get given a glyph if you're there. So if you don't have one, feel free to like speak up if someone wins and they say they already have the glyph. Like, feel free to say I would like a glyph, and they might give you it, which is cool. And again, Mick Bubblegun, I might bring it back permanently, like as long as we have enough people. Mick Bubblegun, in a way, you don't even really want to be there, because if there isn't enough people, then there won't be enough people and you can't do it. And if there is enough people, then I'll bring it back and you'll be able to do it. So don't feel bad about missing it. This is just an exhibition test to see if we have enough viewers to do this type of high interaction stream event. What type of candy does Trick or Treat Necro Seed? Exclusively, what are those things called? Nougat, Charleston Chews. Exclusively Charleston Chews. So that's all he eats. That's the things you're seeing floating around him are deep fried Charleston Chews. That's what they are. I've thought about this prior for hours on end and scientifically deduced that it's Charleston Chews. Doe's Charleston Chews. Let's go for like, let's see. Let's go for like 15-ish. In the area, 15 minutes, 10 minutes. Oh, this is so brutal. Atarax, what's the matter with you? You're doing terrible things to these enemies, my dude. Oh, and then suddenly when you slide attack, the damage like multiplies by 10. It's crazy. So gross. Such gross. So grass. So grass. Ah yes, grass. The true identity of power in this game. Yeah, I just saw the time. But this will get me the amount that is needed to construct the Glorious Grinlock. But again, like, so people are asking about the Grinlock. Again, it's like it's not a weapon you need to ask for a build for because it's literally just crit and status. And it's a gun. Like, it doesn't have special mechanics, so you just use the augment mod and then the 7 mods you use on every other weapon. That's what it's going to be. I'm not building it because I want to show you a build, because there's no need to. Like, it's a very, very stock weapon. It's just because I kind of like weapons that fire like that. Like, I've seen the firing mechanics, and I suspect I'll like how it feels. So, I want to feel it. I want to feel it more than I want to, like, build it. Oh, I just threw a Eximus dude in the water. I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry about that, my buddy. The Ancient Healer's like, why? Infidel. Random question, what do you think of Akenbrunt? It's an old weapon, but still your favorite melee. The stats are quite behind the times, but it's fun. And electromagnetic shielding is a pretty unique effect that has some interesting implications. But I think that overall it is kind of weak. Sylvan Aegis Prime is so strong. I think it's a little overbearing. The supplemental stats are just not quite there. But I would love to see that weapon updated a little bit. I hope the melee rebalancing is kind to it. I think a lot of people want that weapon to be really good, and I think it probably will get. They're gonna look at it and be like, this shouldn't be a weak weapon, you know? At least I hope. Yeah, I don't know, but I hope. Because I think that's what it deserves. That's what it needs. However, it does seem like they're trying to make sure there's a weapon of each type at like low MR as well as high MR. So it's possible that they won't do that, that they'll say like, this is going to be the weak one. I would hope they do that for Sylvan Aegis because it is a prime, and then there's more variety. But I don't know. While Maiming Strike is a crazy damage mod, it's funny that it's often used as a utility mod for farming resources and focus mindlessly. It's true. Like, because this game doesn't require that, you know? Like, Maiming Strike is only not really a problem because this game it's just, like, unnecessary. Whereas, like, if it was necessary, then it would be a huge deal and they probably would have taken it out by now. But they wouldn't have made it, probably, you know? But that has not been an issue because this game is not hard enough for it to be a problem. But yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? How, like, the result is that you often do it to, like, insta-cheese enemies instead of, like... And, like, farming is actually one of the hardest parts of this game, like, because the enemy levels scale up. So, very strange reversal of situations in this game. I'll be deep. I'll see you later. I hope you had a good time. You've been here for, like, the whole stream, my dude. Thanks for watching. Says has like a billion EHP. Nah. Oh, we can go to 15. I guess. We're pretty much here. No, they're gonna be leaving because I asked for I asked for 10. I should go too. It's getting kind of late. Ooh, it's a good thing we did this one early because I got a lot to do today, but we got a lot done, and I hope that you all had a good time. I really wanted to do a full-length normal stream today, so we went a lot earlier than we normally would have. GG! What do we got? What do we got? Let's see it. Alright, there we go. 2,000 polymer, that's fine. I can live with that. Oh. No, it's fine. Don't worry. Don't worry about it. Oh, whoa. Oh, okay, hold on. Oh, that was scary. I just hit a hotkey that removed, like, took everything off my screen, and for a sec, I just couldn't. I was like, oh no, I've killed the stream. How sad. Zany, why does Maiming Strike cost so much? Mystic, because you can't farm it. It's very good. It's very powerful. Not that that's necessary, but it is very powerful. And you cannot, it doesn't drop right now. It only drops from the Acolytes, and even when they are here, which they are only here like once every 2 months, once every 6 months, they come like every 6 months or so, it's still very rare, and it only drops for like a very brief window of time. And it's insane, like totally insane. So that, yeah, that's why. It hardly ever drops. Even when it does, it's really, really rare. You can't normally get it as a drop, but and it's very powerful. Again, it's not really necessary, but it is very powerful, so... Oh my god, so spicy. And yes, for people asking, I do recommend this as a general use Adorex build. I think this is gonna be as good as it gets. Let's see. No condition overload. Maiming Strike Berserk, yeah. I'm just making sure, because I have experimented with this a lot. Yeah. It's what you're... It's what you're looking for. Yeah, it is, it's pretty strong. Pretty strong, but not really necessary. Weeping Wounds is really, really nice and kind of necessary, because having this weapon do guaranteed slash procs is, like, a lot more damage. Like, when you get this scaled up to, I think it's, like, 3.5x-ish, you have basically guaranteed slash procs on every slide attack, and you're like quadra critting, like double red critting, for, you know, like what, 24 times your normal damage on your normal slide attack damage. It's kind of messed up. Like, it does an insane amount of damage. Very fast. Like, you can do them like almost twice a second. Like, it's gross. You can be in stealth and then just have the stealth multiplier too. It's disgusting. Michelle, there's no one who popularized builds like this. It's just the obvious build. Nobody invented it. I'm sure that content creator and basically every other content creator does have a video on it. I have a really old video on it. It's just the obvious build because this weapon does such consistent slash damage. And has such a good slide attack radius, and is so statistically favored. The stats are so nice. Especially the critical multiplier goes a long way to making this weapon so good. Like, the initial critical chance doesn't even matter that much because you have Maiming Strike, but and the status is not amazing, but it's enough, you know. So I recommend this. One thing I don't see Weeping Wounds as much as I should in these builds, but besides that, this is really normal. Like, it's not like I didn't like it do anything special. It's the build that is the obvious build. I agree, Mystic. It's really harsh how unavailable Maiming Strike is. I could not agree more. I'm happy that the chains work with Necros' default skin now, but this is a little bit cluttered. I'm probably going to declutter this fashion a bit. Hey Zandy, I want to know if Saren's 3 works with Life Strike. It does. So you're talking about, let's show that really quick, and then I'm probably going to go. LMNOS. Okay. Um, let's take this stuff off. And Galatine Prime. Something with Lifestrike. So Lifestrike makes everything dealt by the swings that you're channeling for heal you, including damage over time effects like slash procs, and toxin procs are the same. Like, they're coded the same way. So when you use Toxic Lash on Saren, you're adding it doesn't say this in the description. I guess we're just gonna have to look it up, okay? Let me over here. Tox, hold on. Coordination, Lash, Toxic Lash, Saren. Let's shoobity boop over there. Okay, so it doesn't say this in-game, which is really obnoxious because it's like the primary benefit of Toxic Lash. You add a % of the melee weapon's total damage as Toxin with 100% status chance to every strike. So what this means is that the weapon is just forced to proc status every single time, and that is going to be affected by Life Strike, yes. That is the big benefit of Toxic Lash, especially for condition overload builds. That is the thing that makes it like kind of insane. It pops spores, and that's good. You gain energy from popping spores, and that's good. Anyway. So yes, it will. Any damage over time effect that you inflict while channeling with Life Strike with the melee weapon will lifesteal, and Toxic Lash does make your melee weapon inflict the status effects. So yes, it does work. I'm gonna guess, and it's only a guess, that it does not work with Contagion Cloud. This causes Toxic Lash kills to create toxic fields that deal damage over time. I'm pretty sure that won't work with Life Strike, but it might. If I had to guess, I would say it doesn't, but I don't know, and that would be interesting. I don't think that really solves Saren's primary problem, which is that she doesn't really have enough armor, but you could fix that. You could perhaps fix. What do we have here? 100% chance for 600 armor on finishers. It's almost like you could bring a melee weapon that has forced finishers in the stance combo, and then have a ton of flat armor on Saren, fixing her only weakness, and making her totally insane. You would even save a mod slot, because you would not have to, that's future framework, hashtag confirmed. All right, last question. In 5 years, do you see yourself playing Warframe? Yes. I think that the things that would make this game die have already happened, and I do not think that it is going anywhere. I think we have a very bright future ahead of us as the Warframe community. I do not think that there is much that could ruin this game at this point, because they've already kind of done the things that would. What I mean by that is, like, they've done reworks and stuff that people hated, and then they just fixed them and it was fine. They've changed game mechanics, like things like Beavergate, where there was an OP farming node and they just nerfed all the Warframes instead, which is insane. I don't know why they did that. And they fixed it within a day, and it's fine. That didn't kill the community. We were already going strong with a very dedicated and sizable group of people before Plains of Eidolon, and now this weapon is dwarfing AAA studios. This game, this weapon. We're not going anywhere. And as long as the game is still here, I'm going to want to make content about it, because this is like the ideal content creator game, in my opinion. Like, I love this game because I really like making builds. I've always liked making builds. I used to play Magic: The Gathering, the card game, like a little competitively, like semi-competitively, and my strength was building decks. I would always like invent the anti-meta deck and destroy people, even though I was not an amazing player. And that was always my thing. I've always enjoyed MMOs because I like making builds in them, and they're some of the only games that offer like enough build diversity to satisfy my hunger. And Warframe is just like a complete like anomaly in terms of like the amount of complexity it has, to the point that I almost don't even like it. Like, you'll hear me badmouth Warframe for being so oblique all the time, because I think it's a little bit unnecessarily complicated. They don't even really try to teach it. but there are so many build options, and I love it. Like that, it's what I've been looking for my whole life, is a game that lets you like dig your teeth into a bunch of different build options, make all these builds with all these really janky interactions between weapons, and it's wicked cool. Like modding is cool. It's underdeveloped, um, but cool, still really good. I knew you'd be a Johnny type Magic the Gathering. Exactly. I'm a hardcore Johnny, like kind of a Johnny Spike, but if you don't know what those terms mean, don't worry about it. It's nerdy Magic stuff that I remember from my youth, and I'm not very old, so that tells you something. So yeah, definitely. I don't see myself going anywhere with this game. There's no reason to. It's awesome, and they update it so much. And this is not even really like, this is kind of only the beginning of like what they want to do with it. And again, I think the biggest thing is I just do not see anything going wrong. Like how? Like what? They've already done the things wrong that would kill the game, and it didn't kill it. So I don't really know what to say. Like, and I don't think they did it on purpose. I don't think they're doing anything wrong. Not really. I think the mistakes were honest, normal mistakes that people would make. And we mostly just have a great game that has really consistent content and like crazy amounts of build diversity. And again, it's perfect for content creators because there's a lot to explain. Like, you don't want to make news videos? Fine. There's like a bajillion tutorial videos that I still have to make, that I still want to make, that I will still be working on making in the next couple months. That's a big project for like finishing out the first half of this year. We're getting a solid set of tutorials down. That's super important to me. I haven't been doing that. I've been wanting to finish Framework, but we're almost done. Tutorials. Speaking of which, Vauban here needs a Framework real soon. So I'll see you all next time. Thanks for being awesome. I hope that this like community day thing was fun. I guess it wasn't that different than our normal streams, but we did like hardly any gameplay. I pretty much just answered topics nonstop, which is great. That's what I was looking for. You all did your part very nicely. Thank you for being here. So I hope that you enjoy this. Tomorrow, if you're watching this the day it came out, which is Tuesday, on Wednesday, excuse me, of this week, we're doing a exhibition drift frame match, which will be on Twitch. My normal Thursday stream time I'm going to miss. I'm going to be gone. So we're going to do it on Wednesday, and we're going to try doing drift frame. I'm not sure we're going to have the audience for it, but we've grown a lot since I last tried, so we're going to give it a try. There will be glyph giveaways. I'm giving away an Octavia Meister collection. Fashion Frames Showdown is also almost done, first season. Last round, your last chance to become a finalist and be in the live fashion finals next week is this week, ends on Saturday. So if you want to enter, go. It's in my Discord. Go to Fashion Showdown, which is one of the channels on my Discord, and there's a form that just lets you enter. It answers everything else that I didn't just say. Just go there and click it, and it will handle everything else for you. And you should go enter that, because if you win the fashion finals, the live fashion finals, you will win a full Loki Prime Unvaulting pack from DE, which is awesome. That's a lot of stuff. That's $40 of spicy free stuff. So go win that. Month-long competition finally culminating in this live fashion finals. Go watch that. Mars, I caught you right at the end. Hello. I'll see you tomorrow. Drift frame tomorrow. And I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.